KANE.com. Click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can also order by phone. 1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E. 1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
You are listening to South
Here we go.
Radio Show, the Steve Kane Show. To call the show toll free, dial 1-888-GO-KANE.
Yes, yes. Welcome, welcome, one and all. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. On the radio since 1977. A very big week this week. You'll learn more as the week goes on. But a major week here on the Steve Kane Radio Show. News to come on that in a couple of days. Oh, man. So much happening. So much going on. And things are looking at... Well, I thought the Trump press conferences were over. Thought they were over. They're back on. What's going on at the White House? We have so much to talk about, so much to get into. Florida will start opening up what is closed this week. Maybe Governor Ron DeSantis listened to the show yesterday, or my podcast, one or the other. He was just listening to my podcast or the Steve Kane Show, maybe both, Governor DeSantis or those on his team. And, well, because he's starting to do what I said he should do yesterday. So we'll talk about all that and a whole bunch more. I just saw this story yesterday. Miami goes 7+ weeks without a murder. Without a murder. Isn't that something? I've not read anything other than the headline. It says here, Miami's Vice seems to be on lockdown for 55 days this year, February 17th to April 12th. The city of Miami has had 0 murders. This is a first since 1957. To be sure, the 7-week, 3-day hiatus started a few weeks before measures were taken on March 12th. This is in the New York Daily News. Notice I'm reading a story about Miami in the New York newspapers, not in the Miami newspapers. What does that tell you about the quality of the newspapers in South Florida? To be sure, the 7-week, 3-day hiatus started a few weeks before measures were taken on March 12th to slow the spread of coronavirus, the Miami Herald reported, and ended while the restrictions were still in effect. Nonetheless, there's only been 1 murder since then in the city, the Miami Herald said. It started in mid-February, well before anyone was locked down, says Miami Police Chief Jorge Colina. I'm sure when he says Colina, he's got all that tongue thing going on that I could never do when I took Spanish in high school and college. By the way, the Miami police chief is recovering from a case of COVID-19. That's right, it's right here in the paper. He says, why? Honestly, I don't know. I'm just grateful it continues to go down the way it has. The city has logged another record 0 homicides during a 6-week period. Wow. 0 homicides during a 6-week period for the first time since 1960. A police spokesman told CBS. Spokesman, it says. I thought we were supposed to be gender neutral these days. We can say that it's due to our police high visibility, attributed with the pandemic and the stay-at-home order, a Miami Police Department spokesperson told CBS News. In addition to the 1957 record, the city went 6 weeks and 5 days without a homicide in 1960. The Miami Herald noted the crime has been trending downward even before the pandemic hit. Right now, we can't really tell if it's a continuation of the trend or the pandemic. Miami Deputy Police Chief Ron Papier told the Herald, we had a great start to the year. Certainly there's a correlation to the pandemic, but we can't say for sure how much. I would imagine that, I'll tell you some of the reasons the murder rate's down. To be more specific, just lockdown. The murder rate is down for several reasons. One, the bars are closed, right? So people aren't going out getting drunk and getting crazy. That's right, the bars and the clubs are closed. But I would say more so than that, the lockdown, the stay-at-home order, people have nowhere to go, so they're staying home. Things are closed. Bars are closed, clubs are closed, beaches closed, parks closed, all this stuff's opening up. The bad guys are home either with their wives, girlfriends, or moms. And they're locked down with their wives, their girlfriends, because most of these crimes are committed by men. They're locked down with their wives, their moms, their girlfriends, and women keep men in check. That's just the way it is. All men, I don't care who they are. I don't care who they are, how big, how strong, how much of a criminal they are. Women keep men in check. And with the being stuck at home, with the bars and clubs closed, with the woman in their life, they can't go act out like they normally would and do crime. So I would say that's a big reason that crime is low, homicide's down. Oh, man. Yeah, I guess that's good news. So, what I wonder is, during this pandemic, have there been fewer deaths in America overall? Because we get, I don't know, we get these death counts all the time going on, and how many people are testing positive and all of that stuff. But overall, death must be down, right? Homicides 0, 6 weeks in Miami. Miami's a rough town. It really is a rough town. If you're watching the video, yes, I was doing some more painting. Missed a couple spots. Had to do some touch-up. That's right. I've been painting, thanks to Ace Hardware, Deerfield, Ace Hardware, Beach Ace Hardware. Painting the whole inside of my house. One room at a time. I'm doing one room at a time, which is, I've learned the way to do it. Sometimes I would take on like 3 rooms at once, and it would be crazy town. But doing one room at a time, it seems to be much, much better. But anyway, there's fewer cars on the road, fewer traffic accidents. So there's got to be fewer deaths overall for pretty much everything. I bet you even hospital, a lot of people die when they go to the hospital because they go to the hospital and they get infections and things, right? I was talking about this yesterday. I avoid the hospital. When people I know are in the hospital, I rarely visit, even in my family, because you can get sick going to the hospital. And a lot of people that are in the hospital for something get sick and die of something else that they didn't have before they went in the hospital. This is very common, hospital deaths. Very, very common. So I would imagine deaths overall in all kinds of categories, not just homicides in Miami, are down, way down in many different categories. I'd like to see some numbers on it. I'm assuming at some point we will. At some point we will, and then people say, wow, that's amazing. Maybe we should just be locked down all the time. Oh, man. I tell you, I'm really looking forward to the day when we can go on the air and do a show without talking about coronavirus, COVID-19, lockdown, shutdowns, and this opening and that opening. I'm really looking forward to that. Aren't you guys? It's really I'm just sick of it. I'm tired of it. I'm ready to move on with my life. I know you guys are ready to move on with your life. And we need to get back into our regular stuff. Get into our regular petty partisanship, as opposed to what's going on today. Well, the presidential press conference was back on yesterday, and of course the press do what the press do, so we'll talk a little bit about that. I did enjoy the press conference yesterday, I must say. It was interesting, some of the questions. The new media narrative that they're trying to put out there with Donald Trump is it's pretty disgusting. But these are disgusting people in the media. They really are disgusting people. And I don't even blame them. They don't even know what they are in the media. This is how they're trained. This is how they're recruited. They don't know any different. And that's just how they are. And some of the questions, one in particular I'm going to get to in just a bit, was, you could tell, the beginning of the new narrative from the left. The mainstream media's new talking point came out yesterday in the White House press briefing. We are going to get to that, no doubt about it. And I got to tell you, in this time that we are in, there's one thing you do not want to neglect, and that is your health. You got to take control and monitor your health. And the best way to do that is through any lab test now of Boca Raton and any lab test now of Coral Springs, where they guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of lab tests in this town. No appointment necessary, no doctor's order. Everything always completely confidential. You can walk right in. That's right. And any lab test now of Boca Raton and any lab test now of Coral Springs, when you go in for your basic lab test, you're in and out in 15 minutes or less, but honestly, you're in there much less. They say 15. That's the long end. You're out of there, boom, much faster than that. They can send the results directly to your physician. You know, a lot of people don't want to go to their primary care physician or even some of their specialists these days, and I understand that. But you know what? You still need to have lab work done to allow your doctor to properly monitor whatever prescriptions you're taking. You can do that at any lab test now of Boca and any lab test now of Coral Springs. That's right. They can send the results directly to your physician. Now, there's a lot of any lab test nows, but there are only two advertising on the Steve Kane Show. That's any lab test now of Coral Springs, which is on the southeast corner of University Drive in Ramblewood, over near the closed down Coral Square Mall, but any lab test now of Coral Springs is open for business. And any lab test now of Boca in the Sandalfoot Plaza, that's where the Western Beef is, you know where that shopping center is? And it is between Palmetto Park Road and Hillsborough. You guys know where that is, off of State Road 7. These are the two locations. The number I give you, both are listed at stevecaneshow.com. I'm going to give you the Boca Raton number right now. But you can use that number for both locations if you have questions. But like I say, no doctor's order, no prescription. You do not even need an appointment. I stopped by any lab test now of Boca on Friday myself, and have no fear. They are maintaining social distancing guidelines, and they are very, very knowledgeable professionals over there. Any lab test now of Coral Springs, any lab test now of Boca, where they guarantee the lowest price on all of their thousands of lab tests. You know, if you're going in for something that's private, you know, a drug test, an STD test, when you walk in, you don't have to walk in and say, hey, I'm here for my STD and drug test. Walk in, go up to the nice girls who work there and say, oh, could I have a private consultation? And they'll take you to the private consultation room, and then you could tell them, right? Because, you know, everything's always anonymous. Nothing goes on your medical record as well, right? The results are for your eyes only, unless you want them sent to your doctor. You can have the results emailed to you, sent to your physician, or if you don't want them in your email box, you can stop in and get a hard copy of them if you'd like. You certainly can do that. All right, now I'm going to give you the number for the any lab test now in Boca, but again, you can use this number for either location, 561-237-5009. 561-237-5009. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
Attention seniors over the age of 65. In this unsettling time due to COVID-19, if you recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 for a free review.
Oh, some
of your
people were
existing
asking me,
health
no.
insurance plan. And
This is our
receive a
regular
free
old
no-obligation
studio. I
education
just
for
took
all of
off
your
all
Medicare
of our
options.
decorations. The
Advisors are
engineer's
carrier
coming here
neutral,
after the
which means
show.
they don't just represent one insurance carrier.
And
they
tomorrow
represent
we'll be
all major
broadcasting
national
from
carriers
a
and will guide you
probably a
through the confusing
temporary
process to find the
studio
right plan
tomorrow,
for your particular needs.
and
Free
then
of charge.
we'll
Call Debbie and her team right now.
be in a new studio by the end of the week.
954-753-8080. 954-753-8080.
This is Lori Kane, and I want to tell you about Brighton Dental Care. I just had a lot of work done, and I avoided going to the dentist for a lot of years because I was afraid of the cost. But I went to Brighton
Make sure you
Dental
subscribe,
for my
guys.
free
Hey,
consultation,
and not only
which, by the way,
subscribe and click the
offers to all
notification
Steve
bell,
Kane
but if you could
listeners. I had 2
share
cavities, I
the
needed a crown
stream on
top and a
all of your
crown on the
social
bottom.
media,
If
I'd
I were
appreciate
worse,
that.
they would have put me down.
Facebook,
So
Twitter,
I scheduled my appointment
whatever.
for the next Saturday because Brighton Dental has
If you use
Saturday
Twitter, try to get
appointments
some good
available, and they
hashtags.
saved me a ton of money. And I will be a patient for life. Don't let cost stop you from
Good
taking
morning,
care
Faith.
of your teeth. Brighton Dental gives Steve Kane listeners incredible discounts on all dental procedures.
Yes,
Just
yes.
like they gave me. Prices are so reasonable, you don't have to worry about the cost. So call Brighton Dental today at 954-922-4633. That's 954-922-4633. You can visit them at brightondental.com and tell them Lori Kane sent you.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for W.
Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977, our number toll-free from anywhere, 1-888-GO-KANE-1. Pretty much open phones today. 888-465-2631. 888-465-2631. Howard Stern, okay, I'm a big fan of Howard Stern. And I don't know, I listen to Howard Stern different than most people. I didn't listen to Howard Stern until a few years ago because when he was on the radio in the Florida market, I've always been on the air early in the mornings, and I was never able to listen to him when he was on radio. And I started listening to him on occasion. I don't listen so much these days, but I started listening to him on the satellite. And I think Howard Stern is the best interviewer in the history of interviews. Celebrity interviews by far, but he's the best interviewer in the history of interviews. He's absolutely amazing what he pulls out of people, no matter who they are. It's amazing, you know. And I have so much respect for Howard Stern. You know what Howard Stern does? They call him a shock jock. Maybe he calls himself a shock jock, but he's really a talk radio host. It's a similar style that we do here on the Steve Kane Show. It's from the Joe Pine, Bob Grant style of talk radio. That's what he does, and he's amazing. I have so much respect for him. In fact, I got more respect for Howard Stern than Rush Limbaugh by far. And many years ago, back in the 90s, when Rush first made it big nationally, it was, I can't remember what show it was. It was a news show or an entertainment show. And back then, the way things were being promoted is that Howard Stern and Rush Limbaugh were the two big radio guys. And somebody goes up to Howard Stern on a red carpet somewhere or something and asked about Rush Limbaugh. And he says, that guy's nothing like me. He says, I went on in morning drive against every legendary morning show in the country, and I beat them all. He's on in the middle of the day when there's no competition. It's not the same thing. That is so very true. That is so very true. And so I got a lot of respect for Howard Stern. Now, with that being said, Howard Stern's all over the media today because he's coming out and saying he's going to be voting for Joe Biden. You know, I don't hold any of that against Howard Stern. When I listen to Stern and he starts getting into his politics, I'm not, I tune away. I like it when he does celebrity interviews. He is so good. He interviews celebrities that I've never heard of and don't care about. And I'm fascinated about this person and their life after listening to him interview them during the interview, too. He's that great of an interviewer. People I've never heard of or people I don't care about. And I'm like, wow, this is fascinating because he's such a great interviewer. But here's the thing with Howard Stern saying he's going to vote for Joe Biden, which is really sad. I mean, you know, this woman who's talking about the assault, and he's so senile and everything, Joe Biden is even a credible candidate. Howard Stern, a couple things. One, he's born and raised in New York. You know, when you're born in New York City, just like with Donald Trump, when he was born in New York, with the birth certificate, they give the parents a Democrat voter registration card. A lot of people don't know that, but do they still do that today? Right, so, you know, that's that. And the other thing is, there's two other factors, too. Why is Howard Stern coming out saying he's going to vote for Joe Biden? One of them there's two other reasons. One of them is everyone's talking about him. He's all over the press. And Howard Stern shares a lot in common with President Trump. He knows how to get people talking about him. He's the king of all media. So he's got the national media talking about him. Right? So that's a good thing for him. Another reason is Howard Stern does celebrity interviews. If Howard Stern, I'm not saying that he likes Trump. I don't know. Obviously, he's known Trump for many, many years personally. But let's just say he did like Trump and appreciated Trump and supported Trump and wanted even to vote for Trump or was going to vote for. I'm not saying that he is, but let's just say that he was. He couldn't reveal that on his show. Celebrities would start boycotting his show if he came out in favor of Donald Trump. Okay? So I don't hold anything against Howard Stern for saying he's going to vote for Joe Biden. That's expected. It would be, someone in the chat said he's a shock jock. There's nothing shocking about him saying he's going to vote for Joe Biden. What would be shocking is if he said he was going to vote for Donald Trump. Like Joe Rogan, who said he couldn't vote for Joe Biden because he's just so senile. So no, you're not going to hear me criticize Howard Stern over that. I know a lot of people will. I think he is incredible. He is one of the. He may be the number one guy in the history of radio, but he's certainly one or two. One or two. I would say number one or two. It would be between the top three people in the history of radio. Would be nationally would be, of course, Howard Stern, Bob Grant, and Joe Pine would be the top three, right? In the history of radio, because those three changed radio in ways that no one else has and probably never will again. So I got a lot of respect for Howard Stern, but come on, big deal. It's not shocking that he's endorsing Biden, but you got to ask yourself, what's going on with Biden? Is he a credible candidate? They got this woman making these allegations. And, one thing they like to do when women come forward and make accusations against celebrities, in particular politicians, they like to show you what they look like now as opposed to back when the things occurred. And now they're like old ladies. They did this to Juanita Broaddrick. Right? They would show what she looks like now. She's a grandmother now. But if you see a picture of her back when Bill Clinton assaulted her, she was hot. This accuser of Joe Biden, she was really an attractive woman. You see the older pictures at the era when she was making the claims against Joe Biden. But Joe Biden, he's got three major things going against him. One, this latest allegation. Two, the corrupt business he did with Ukraine. I know there's China, his corruption, which is insane. But first and foremost, he's suffering from major dementia. And I'm so reluctant to talk because I'm not into attacking him because of his dementia. I will say, I always thought Joe Biden was a creep. Even when he was a senator, he always seemed like a sleaze to me, Joe Biden. Always. Just before he was vice president, he always seemed like a sleaze. And he is a sleaze. But now he's suffering from some advanced form of dementia that he can't even read the teleprompter in his basement. He has to have his wife read his lines for him in that latest video that came out yesterday. Do you really, now here, I'd like to take some calls on this. Do you think Joe Biden will be the nominee? I know in New York they've taken everyone else off the primary ballot except Biden so they can dispense with elections. That's what Democrats like to do. Why have these elections? Let's just let the party choose. Will Joe Biden really be the nominee of the Democrat Party? Do you think they're going to come in during the convention and plug someone else in? This lady governor in Michigan, I think she's angling to be the VP nominee. I see her on television. she looks crazed to me. Does she look sane to you, the governor of Michigan? She looks like a total loon to me. Something about her eye. The look in her face does not look like she's all together there. But do you believe our number 1-888-GO-KANE-1, 888-465-2631, will Joe Biden be the nominee? Do they really plan on making him the nominee? Now, Democrats always have a license to commit all kinds of scandal, right? So taking his financial corruption away, taking the sexual allegation away, he's still suffering from advanced dementia. It is so hard for me to believe that he's going to be the nominee. I find it really impossible to believe he's going to be the Democrat nominee. What are your thoughts on that? Are they really going to make him the nominee? If not, who? 1-888-GO-KANE-1. 888-465-2631. Toll-free call. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Very special day here on the Steve Kane Show. Can't tell you right now what it is, but very special day. Very special day. Something special happening. I wish I could tell you. So special, in fact, I'm rather distracted. But, you know, what can you do? Hey, let's take that break for the bottom of the hour. Again, my name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't you go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
We have on the line attorney Barry Siegel, our estate planning attorney, and he's going to tell you what you can do to take care of your family in this very difficult
Steve
period.
Kane Show.
Barry, what have you seen happening with estate planning
Steve
since
Kane
the
Show.
outbreak of the coronavirus?
Since the outbreak of the Corona-19
It
virus,
starts.
people have taken estate planning much more seriously. One of the things that we talk about often is how people procrastinate when it comes to setting up their estate planning, because estate planning, most of the time for people, is something they should do. But what the coronavirus has done with the outbreak and concern is made people put this at the top of their list. So instead of it being a should, it's become a must. And therefore, we have received a ton of calls from people who have been telling us that they've been meaning to do this for a long time, but now they've realized how important it is to make sure, even if they're doing everything right and they stay home and do their social distancing, they still just want to make sure that they have that peace of mind that they've set up their estate plan to take care of the people that they love. Many people prefer face-to-face meetings. I typically am one.
Hey, did you, Chuck, did you get in touch with your friend that I mistakenly blocked? That I am blocked, does he know?
Consultations or even video consultations. We can send a link over to you, and all you have to do is touch the button, and all of a sudden we're face-to-face. We can see each other, and we can have a consultation just as if you were sitting in our conference room. And the whole point of it is you don't have to worry about your safety. You don't have to come in wearing gloves and a mask. All you have to do is we ask you that you fill out a questionnaire if you're married, that both you and your spouse attend, and we're able to do the same things and ask the same questions and have the same conversations that
Steve
we do
Kane
when
Show.
we're sitting right there in our conference room, either over the phone or by video conference.
Steve Kane
It's
Show.
working out very, very well.
People are very concerned in this time about their health
I hate
care.
to have to
What
block
planning
people.
is
I don't like
important for
blocking people.
to have as it relates to
Good,
their
good,
health care.
Brian, the healthcare planning is so
I should have taken a
important.
screenshot of the
There are
names
three
that were next to his.
healthcare documents that everybody should have in their estate plan. The first one is the healthcare surrogate designation. The healthcare surrogate designation is
I
a
know.
document that allows
I know.
you to
I don't like to
choose
not
the
tell you guys
surrogate
things.
or an agent to step into your shoes and make your healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. We only
You'll find out.
recommend that you name
You'll
at
find out
least
later this week.
two, or you can name two people
I know.
together, but the people you name can step in and make decisions for you health-wise, even life-ending decisions. The second healthcare document that is very important is the living will. The living will is the document that's typically called the pull-the-plug document. If you are mentally incapacitated, so you can't make your own healthcare decisions, and you have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or you're in a persistent vegetative state, the living will tell your healthcare surrogate whether or not you want to be kept alive on a machine if the machine is the only thing keeping you alive while you're in those conditions. So it's very important to have that so that your healthcare decision maker will be able to know what it is
That's
that
true,
you
Sarah.
wanted. The third healthcare
This is
document
true.
that is so important is called a HIPAA authorization and release. You've been to a doctor.
My allergies are bothering me. I'm having a tough time breathing this morning from my allergies.
That you read their HIPAA policy, and their HIPAA policy basically says that they won't share your private medical information with anybody other than other doctors, other specialists, other medical providers. The HIPAA authorization and release that you set up with your estate plan
I know he did,
says,
Jimmy.
I want my medical information kept
I saw it. I
private.
referenced
You
it
can share
already.
with my spouse, my child, my brother, my sister, my friend, whoever it is that you would want them to be allowed to access your medical information, either by talking to the doctors and nurses and other medical staff, or even getting your medical records. So all three of those healthcare documents are so important for everyone to have just in everyday life, let alone during these times.
Now, Barry, the Siegel Law Group, you are donating healthcare documents to people in high-risk professions. That's healthcare workers, first responders, and even those who work at animal clinics and shelters.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the people out there who are risking their lives. This is interfering with their families, and they are just real heroes out there who are
Steve
taking
Kane
care
Show.
of all of these ill people. So we wanted to make sure
Steve
that they
Kane
had
Show.
the proper documentation that they needed for their own
Hey,
families,
hello.
themselves and their families, so that they would be protected. So we are offering healthcare workers, first responders, and those who deal with animals in animal clinics and animal shelters. We are offering them a free healthcare surrogate designation and a free living will. So all they have to do is call our office, and we'll take care of that for them. Again, for all of you
Yeah.
who are doing those difficult work,
That's right.
that heavy
Our
work for
crews.
all of us, we thank you very much. When you call the Siegel Law Group, we will give you a free consultation. That consultation can be either over the phone or by video conference, but the consultation will be free. So please give us a call and we will set that up for you.
Call Barry Siegel's office right now and take advantage of that free consultation. His number is toll-free, 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. Good morning. You're on the radio.
Hey, Brian, it's Jeff from Maine. How are you?
All right, Jeff in Maine. How's it going?
Good. You know, a lot of people think that, Biden will pick Hillary because they need someone with name recognition. But what if Barack Obama decided to run as vice president?
Yeah, I don't know. That sounds, the thing about Hillary, a lot of people say, no, Hillary would never take number 2 on the ticket. Listen, Biden is so checked out. I would not be surprised if Hillary took a number 2 spot with Biden. He's so checked out, there's no way he's going to be able to govern. And this would probably, and he's going to have to step aside at some point if he were to become president. This would be an actual possibility for Hillary to become the president if she were Joe Biden's vice president. There's no doubt about it. So I could definitely see Barack Obama. Nah, he's not going to cut. No.
I got a question for you. Hillary Clinton burned Bernie Sanders last time. How many of his voters would vote for her, though?
How many of Bernie's people?
Yes, I don't think the majority of them would not vote for her.
Yeah.
They can't stand her.
Yeah. Well, the Democrats who are trying to tank the economy, like in places like Michigan, like I was talking about this lady governor in Michigan, I think is angling to be the vice president, right? And they might pick her to be the VP nominee. Michigan, they want Michigan back. But the question is, how much have the Democrat governors alienated their constituents with these out-of-control shutdowns that they're doing nationwide? Really?
100%. And she doesn't have name recognition nationally to be able to be the vice president, let alone president.
Do you
be someone.
Do you think the Democrats really, truly plan on nominating Joe Biden?
I believe they are going to nominate him, but something's going to happen to him, and whoever the vice president is running mate will get his spot.
Yeah. I mean, that talk with him and his wife from Sunday, she was reading remarks that were meant for him. For whatever reason, he couldn't read the teleprompter or cue cards or whatever they're doing in there, and they plugged her in to do it. That was so sad. So sad. And we really know who plans on being the president and running the country. That's Joe Biden, the wife. She thinks she'll be running the country. And you know what? She probably would be if he were elected.
I just don't see them. They're going to institute him or something because he's out. He would not be able to stay on a debate stage with President Trump.
Well, that's why I wonder. That's why I wonder. Do you really think when they go into their convention, they plan on nominating Biden? He could step aside at any time, and they could plug someone in and give them the nomination. And there's a lot of people that want that nomination. See, you know, you got to understand, Democrats, even the politicians, don't see the world realistically. Look at Biden or Schumer and Pelosi. They think everyone hates Trump, not them. So there are a lot of prominent Democrat officials who would gladly walk in and accept the nomination.
Name one or two that have the name recognition that would energize the Democrat platform or party. I mean,
Andrew Cuomo. Andrew Cuomo.
I just don't see. I don't see him being popular across the country.
Well, listen, I don't like Andrew Cuomo, but he. Now listen, a lot can change, and a lot's going to come out about New York when all this settles. But I think he's the most likely Democrat nominee in 2024 without a doubt right now. And it's what he wants more than anything. His father wanted to be the president more than anything, Mario Cuomo, and he failed and failed again. Andrew Cuomo, most likely Democrat to be the 2024 Democrat nominee. And when he first started doing his press conferences, they weren't that bad. He's not, so far as Democrats go, he's done too many of these daily press conferences, and they've gotten a little crazy, and he talks too much. But in the first couple of press conferences, he seemed likable, competent, and electable. I hate to say it, but I mean, the Democrats are going to win another election at some point.
That's right. But I think the voting bloc they're hurting most in is women. I think more women are going to vote for Trump than any other Republican president.
Well, women, I think women like a strong man. They don't like some wimpy metrosexual type. So I think a lot of women are drawn to Trump because he's a strong man. And I think women like that. Even the ones that won't admit it. They like it. They like it. I don't think women like wimpy guys. I don't know. What do you guys think? Ladies out there, I don't think so. And I think a lot of women are attracted to. I'll tell you another thing too. In most marriages, women run the household, which includes the family budget. And I don't see women turning the economy over to Democrats, especially now. I mean, the economy was going so strong. Now we got a lot of problems. I don't see people turning the economy over to another political party in the middle of this. Donald Trump, like him or not, is the most likely to get the country economically back where it should be before they wrecked it with all this coronavirus pandemic.
And I believe that he's the only one that is capable. He is always 10 steps ahead of his enemies. He just can't. Everything they've thrown at him has failed.
Well,
he's a very brilliant.
When you look at what he's gone through, strippers, porn actresses, plagues, pandemics, spying in his home what President Trump has gone through since he came down the escalator, it's amazing. But the Democrats that are keeping parts of the country shut down that don't need to be, to the extent that they are, I feel like they're punishing the American people for electing Donald Trump.
I have one last thing I'd like to say. What if they ran Tulsi Gabbard?
She's the worst.
Gabbard, I'm sorry.
Tulsi Gabbard's the worst. Tulsi Gabbard is being groomed for down the road, 2024, maybe 2028. She's as left-wing as Barack Obama. She comes out sounding reasonable because she knows Democrats are not electable this election cycle. And a lot of conservatives get all excited because she's got the military service. And I think she's a major now in the Hawaiian National Guard. And they always want to thank her for her service and all of that. She's, no, do not trust Tulsi Gabbard.
I think she's a Trojan horse.
Absolutely.
Going to come in and down the road. I really believe that, Brian.
No question about that. I agree with you 150%. I said that from the very beginning. You got to watch out for her. She's as radical as Obama, but she hides it these days because she's trying to use the military service and sound rational when, in an era when you've got Biden, Beto, and Mayor Pete and these losers out there. She sounds rational. Don't believe her. She's as radical as all of them. She's just hiding it. All right, man. Appreciate the call. Thanks so much. Oh man. It's time for the last break of the first hour already. This show's flying by. This show is flying by, people. My name's Brian. This is Florida's longest running radio show, the Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. Let's check in with Dr. Mitch Matez. He's going to talk a little bit here about dementia.
Morning.
Good morning, Brian. You and I talk about cognition all the time when I call in. We have so many different options to try to help people with their cognition here. I will repeat what I say all the time. This is called age management, folks. It's not just, hey, come in and get some hormones and feel better. We have options. Hormones, by the way, is one of the greatest ways to get your cognition back, get your hormones back. We have other options. One of the biggest things going on these days is peptide therapy. These are actually FDA-approved therapies that are designed to help you regain your cognition. We have vitamins, intravenous vitamin therapies that are designed. All of these things, by the way, are absolutely 100% natural. This is exactly how the body is designed to have cognition. And Mr. Biden could avail himself of all of these things. Anybody out there, particularly if you identify with Joe Biden's problems here, a lot of us can. Come and talk to us. We can.
Well, thank you for listening, Lisa. Make sure you subscribe, guys, and share the feed on all of your social media pages if you don't mind.
These things are going to happen. I'm going to lose my sex drive. I'm going to lose my hair. I'm going to want to sleep in the middle.
This
of
is
the
our
day.
normal
I'm not gonna have
studio.
energy.
I just
I'm
took
not gonna
all
be able to
our
remember
decorations
these
off the
things. That's just
walls.
part of aging. Well, these things are true, but you can do something about it with hormone replacement pellet therapy. And hormone replacement pellet therapy is a totally 100%
People are asking me.
natural process, right? These are natural hormones that your body makes naturally.
That is correct. Everything I'm talking about is natural. The peptides are proteins that are in your body that are specifically designed to improve the health of your cells. By manipulating these things, we can help people get energy. We can help them lose body fat, increase their lean muscle mass, improve the health of their arteries, fix their fatty livers. There's a whole lot of things that can be done. It's all safe. It's all effective. It's all pretty easy. But you have to come and see us if you want to get it done.
Well, that's the first step. And the consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez, if you mention the Steve Kane Show, is totally free. So call his office, mention the Steve Kane Show, avail yourself of the no-charge consultation with Dr. Mitch Matez, 561-953-5490, 561-953-5490, online, hormone therapy, bocaratone.com. All right, Dr. Matez, we will talk later in the week.
Yes, we will. Have a great day, Brian. Thank you very much.
Take care.
I started Friday and finished yesterday before the
Attention
show.
Seniors over the age of 65. In this unsettling time due to COVID-19, if you have recently lost your job or been forced into retirement and want to learn about all of your Medicare health insurance options, call Debbie and her team at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080 for a free review of your existing health insurance plan and to receive a free no-obligation education on all of your Medicare options. I Will Advisors are carrier neutral, which means they don't just represent one insurance carrier, they represent all major national carriers and will guide you through the confusing
Tomorrow we'll
process to
probably
find the
be
right
in a
plan for your
temporary
particular needs. Free of
studio.
charge. Call Debbie and her team right now.
But by the end of the week, we'll be in a new studio.
954-753-8080.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWN.
Welcome, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. Welcome back, one and all. If you watch on the YouTube live streams, you may notice you'll see house paint on me. I've been redoing the entire inside of my house since Ace Hardware, Deerfield, and Beach Ace Hardware joined us here on the Steve Kane Show, and I'm loving it. This weekend, I'm going to take a big plunge this weekend and start doing some tile work. Some of the tile in my daughter's shower has come loose, and I've really been putting off fixing it because I've never done tile work before. But I want to head over to Ace Hardware this week and talk to the guys. That's the great thing about Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware. Everyone who works there, they're an expert. There's carpenters, there's plumbers, there's electricians, there's handymen. They've done it all. So when you're working on a project, they'll walk you through it, and they'll give you the materials that you need to get it done. And I'm going to go over there today and explain what's going on in my shower, tile-wise, and I'm going to walk out with everything I need to get the job done. And then I'll be able to take credit for doing it. I'll be like, hey, tell my daughter, hey, I fixed the tile in your shower. It's nice. It's really nice to be able to do things around the house. I can do some handyman things, but I need a little extra helping hand. Big thing to me about Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware is this. Anytime I go there to get something and I get home to work on anything, because I've been doing a lot of things around the house, I have everything I need. I talk about this a lot with the Lowe's and Home Depots. I go back 5 times or even more sometimes because I go, first off, it's intimidating to go to those places, isn't it? Those huge warehouses. And the people that work there, they're not very helpful. If you ask them for something, they'll take you to the aisle where all these things are, and then you're kind of on your own, and then you get home and you don't have everything you need. You're going back, you're going back, you're going back. It's a hassle. Ace Hardware Deerfield, Beach Ace Hardware, you will leave with everything you need for the job, which is great. Saves a lot of time, a lot of aggravation. So Ace Hardware Deerfield is located on US 1 Federal Highway just south of Hillsborough. Beach Ace Hardware is located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea. And when you stop in, you mention the Steve Kane Show, they will give you those free bandanas. And I know a lot of you have been taking advantage of that. You know, you need to wear that. The masks everywhere, these bandanas are great. They're free, they're thick, they're exactly what you need, and they're reusable because you can wash them. And you can wash them. I would recommend you wash them a lot. So every day you got a fresh, clean bandana to wear on your travels. So stop by our 2 Ace Hardwares. Now listen, there's a lot of Ace Hardwares around, but only 2 advertising on the Steve Kane Show. That's the Deerfield location and the Beach Ace Hardware at Lauderdale by the Sea. All right? All right, welcome back, guys. Oh, man, I tell you. Are we finally getting out of this? I'm looking here in the Miami Herald. Is this the Miami Herald I'm reading from, or is it? This is WSVN, Channel 7. And it says here, the mayors of Miami-Dade and Broward counties have announced plans to open up some of the county's public spaces with restrictions. Let me tell you, what we are experiencing in America right now is the biggest loss of liberty that we have ever experienced. You know, after 9/11, when the Patriot Act was being talked about and being debated, there was a national debate that went on for months about the loss of liberties with the Patriot Act. Went on for months. And then they passed it, of course. But at least there was a debate. Where are the civil libertarians? Where are they? All right? They're going to open up some public spaces in Miami and Broward with restriction. Last time I checked, this is America. It's a free country. What are they talking about? They're going to open up some with restrictions. This is the largest surrender of civil liberties that Americans have ever experienced because it's happened from coast to coast, from sea to shining sea. Speaking at a press conference Monday, Miami-Dade County Mayor Carlos Gimenez said parks, marinas, and golf courses will reopen Wednesday. Oh, Ray and Sunrise golf courses are opening. The Miami mayor said this, let me stress that the openings happening this Wednesday, that's tomorrow, are not business as usual. This is a new normal. Don't you love it how the politicians, without any public debate, without any legislation, have just decided we have a new normal? This is a new normal, says the Miami mayor, because you will have to do things a little bit differently to enjoy the outdoors. If people do not abide by the rules, they will be escorted out. Meanwhile, Broward County is looking to open up the same way Miami-Dade did. We're going to open our recreational facilities, golf courses, boat ramps, and marinas, says Broward County Mayor Dale Holness. Social distancing must be observed at all times. Miami-Dade has hired 400 people to help enforce social distancing rules. Now, who are these people? Are they police officers? Or what authority do the new social distancing police have? There's now social distancing police, 400 of them they're hiring? The facilities will be used in limited ways that require everyone to take personal responsibility and act as if they had the coronavirus, says the Miami mayor. We've got to act as if we've had it or have it? So we're all presumed positive? Where are the civil libertarians? I haven't heard any of them. You have to act as if you've had the coronavirus. Well, if you've had it, you can be safely around people that have had it, can't you? Most parks in Miami will be open from 7 a.m. to 8 p.m. with special hours for seniors. Organized competitive play is prohibited, except for singles tennis. You can't even play doubles tennis? You're telling me that's normal? Who the hell play? Tennis is out. How many people still play tennis? Not very many. On basketball courts, up to 3 players are allowed on a half court to take turns throwing the ball. Each person must have their own basketball, or you'll be escorted off, I guess. So we're going to have basketball play, groups of 3, and everyone has to have their own ball? I don't want to laugh because it's not funny. This is the new normal. I'm reading this live on the air. I did not read any of this before the show. I'm reading this article cold. I put it on Twitter. I just saw the headline. Basketball, only 3 players, and everyone must have their own ball. For marinas and waterways in Dade, now keep in mind, Broward's going to follow whatever Dade does. For marinas and waterways in Dade, boats must be 50 feet apart at all times. Jet skis must have a single rider. What? If people are riding 2 on a jet ski, they're usually a couple, right? Boyfriend, girlfriend, or boyfriend and boyfriend, or girlfriend and girlfriend, or a child with a parent, or a husband and a wife. You don't share a jet ski with strangers. If you're sharing a jet ski, you are sharing the jet ski with someone you either live with, are having sex with, or certainly drove together with the jet ski in tow to the boat ramp. This is stupid. Unless you're trying to get people accustomed to a loss of liberty. Jet skis must have a single rider. There must be no more than 10 people on a vessel, dependent on the size. The move comes as other parts of Florida begin loosening restrictions, even as the state's COVID-19 total cases surpasses 32,000. Municipalities across South Florida are working on their own plans to reopen. Key West has opened parks, recreational facilities, and beaches to residents only. City of Miami Mayor Francis Suarez says he's not ready to open the city's public spaces. But when the time comes, he outlined his strategy for the first phase. You know, listen, I don't follow the politics of Dade County of Miami anymore. But, we got a lot of Hispanic names there. We have people running Miami that are descendants of Cubans, maybe even from Cuba. Certainly Latin America. Many of them immigrants. Many of them are naturally born Americans, but their parents or grandparents are from Cuba or some other third world dictatorship in Latin America. And, have they forgotten? You've got more freedom now in places like Cuba to a certain extent than you do in Miami. This is our exile community. We're going to be cautious, says the City of Miami Mayor Suarez. Our parks, our beach, which is Virginia Key, and marinas with strict adherence of social distancing of 6 feet or more. Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida says this is going to be a slow and steady wins the race. It's going to be very methodical, very data-driven, and there's probably going to be some people that think it's too slow, and I get that. Yeah, I'm going to be one of them. I'm going to be one of them, Gov. The governor's reopened Florida task force spent last week on countless conference calls working to come up with a plan to reopen the state. Meanwhile, Florida Democratic leaders believe the governor is moving too quickly. Moving too quickly? Everything's pretty much still closed. See, this is what has me frustrated is South Florida, which is the most populated part of the state. The four most important parts of Florida are Miami, Broward, Palm Beach, that's South Florida, and Orange County, where Walt Disney and Universal are. All run by Democrats. And the Democrats want to wreck the economy and don't want things opened up. And they enjoy restricting people's freedoms. When I heard the governor put together a task force to reopen the economy, the first thought that came to my mind is, why is he not putting a task force to fix the broken unemployment system, said Representative Debbie Murcaso-Powell, Democrat. Well, if you get people back to work, they don't need that unemployment system. How about that, Democrat? The keys to reopening our economy are testing and monitoring, says Congressman Darren Soto, Democrat, and monitoring. How are you going to do that? We're going to track every American citizen? I know this because medical professionals and pandemic specialists have told us time and time again this. That's a loss of civil liberties. It's not up to the government to test people and then monitor them and monitor their movements. And not only that, monitor who you move near. Florida's stay-at-home order from the governor is set to expire Thursday. For more reopenings, click here. I'll look at that during the break. It's 7 o'clock in the morning. My name is Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Our number toll-free, 1-888-GO-KANE, 1-888-465-2631. We'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.
6.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
Hurricane season is right around the corner.
Steve Kane Show.
Predictions are that the 2020
Hey, Mike, hold on.
hurricanes and 4 growing into major hurricanes. That's according to scientists at Colorado State University. That's 3 more named storms and hurricanes and 2 more major hurricanes than they predicted at this time last year. Do you have the hurricane coverage you need and the coverage you want for your home, condominium, or commercial property? In case a hurricane hits, call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080. Debbie will review your policy at no charge and make sure you have the coverage you want and the coverage you need. Once a hurricane hits, it's too late. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors right now, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them, they all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA 3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place,
Welcome, guys. Make sure you subscribe and share the video on all of your social media. All right, and click the notification bell, guys.
In your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
You are listening to
All right, here we go.
Show, the Steve Kane Show.
All right, hour number 2 has begun. I am Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest-running radio show on the radio since 1977. Mike and Boca, you're on the radio. Good morning.
Yeah, I've been, how you doing, Brian?
All right.
Since Friday, I've been listening to Ron, and like I said before, I believe it's going to be, Hillsborough County and Verona County are going to be open for business really soon. Broward, Dade, and Palm Beach are going to be at the bottom of the, they're going to be at the bottom of the list.
Yeah, because we're run by Democrats. You know, what I'd like to see in, Florida has 67 counties. And what I would like to see is a map of Florida with the counties.
64 opening.
Yeah.
Number 64.
Yeah, just like on election night. Broward was the last one to turn in the results. I want to see when the county opens up, I want to see it marked in red, and I want to see the ones that are shut down in blue, and I want to see what happens. And we're going to find that the blue counties are going to open up last, and they're going to only open up when they have no other option for a lot of reasons. They want to wreck the economy because they think it's the path to defeat Trump, but Democrats love control over people. They love power over people, and they don't want to give it up.
And the sad thing is that these people they're not going to get voted out of office. They're not. They're just not. That's a fact. That's a fact. It's a reality of South Florida.
They firm up their base. Democrats love it when because people are stupid, and Democrat voters believe that too many people. I mean, look at their reaction to the one Democrat congresswoman was upset that the governor put together a task force to reopen the state. This is the largest loss of. This is the largest loss and surrender of civil liberties that Americans have ever experienced, and it happened like that with no debate.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, you can. Real Beach is open today. You can go there, do some you can do some filming.
Yeah, well, I live 10 minutes. I live 10 minutes from the beach. I got to drive 90 minutes.
I know.
Now, even though I'm 10 minutes away.
I know. I hear you.
Yeah.
I live in the area. I know exactly how far it's the beach because I go to Boca Beach. No, I don't go to Boca Beach. We go to Delray Beach. We go to Lakewood Beach. We go to Point Inlet, and we can't go there now. We have to wait.
Now Delray, which is Delray, which is Atlantic Avenue and A1A, that is an incredible beach. It's almost like a secret beach that not a lot of people go to or know about. It is a great beach.
I like the one. We go to the one in Delray. Linton and A1A.
That's a great one too.
More quieter.
Yeah, those are nice beaches. All the beaches are nice in Florida. Yeah. All right.
Why would you want to leave? Why would you want to leave? I mean, it's the best place to be.
Exactly. All right, Mike and Boca, appreciate the call.
And then what are you doing with the people at the restaurant? I mean, how's Ed holding up?
They're all doing takeout, and they've got reduced, they've got reduced staff. All the restaurants, and they're skating by.
Jeez.
I mean, Wings Plus is doing very well. They're open, the Ramblewood location is open up. But the wings are so tasty, but that's a food that is made for takeout at Wings Plus. A lot of restaurants are not.
Sunday afternoon.
Or Tuesday for lunch or dinner. All right, Mike and Boca, take care. Appreciate the call. Yeah, I mean, he's right on the money. Yeah, I was reading this during the break. Miami-Dade has a website about reopening, and it's called Moving to a New Normal. Oh, my goodness. A new normal where Democrats tell you where you can go, when you can go, and who you can go with. That's insane. You know, Ray in Sunrise was talking about golfing. I read, let me see this. Listen to this. If I can find this here. I read this a little while ago. Now I can't find it. Golf courses are open, but you're not going to be putting the balls in the hole. They have a new way that they've changed the game of golf. I can't find that article now. I read it a little while ago. I've got so many articles here. I'll see if I can find it and share with you. I don't know how they're doing it exactly, but they don't want people sharing the hole. That's not enough social distancing, so they're changing the rules of golf. Yeah, so I'm looking at this, moving to a new, I don't want a new normal. I want life in our free country. But you know, in Miami, we got a lot of people in Miami. I want to hear from our South Florida people on this, our Miami people on this. Miami is a very international city. The majority of the population, if they're not from somewhere else, their parents or grandparents are from somewhere else. And what I'm wondering is, this is what I'm wondering. I haven't come to this conclusion yet. I'm still processing this. In Miami, where you have so many people that have ties to Latin America, are they more comfortable giving up civil liberties because in South America and Cuba, they have so few civil liberties? So are they, it seems to me our exile community in Dade County are acting like the dictators down there. I mean, listen to this. Moving to a new normal, Miami-Dade County. Effective as of 6 a.m. on April 29th, per Emergency Order 21-20, individuals can participate in certain outdoor activities. Oh, wow. I thought this was America. Now the county is going to allow individuals to participate in certain activities, just certain activities, that are outdoor, where social distancing is easiest to maintain. And we can most quickly enjoy the physical and mental health benefits of fresh air, sunshine, and exercise. This is like when a guy's doing time in solitary confinement, they let him out for an hour a day out of the cell. In this new normal, this is what they call it, practicing social distancing and facial coverings will be enforced. And facial coverings will be enforced until health experts advise it is no longer necessary. Oh my goodness. Hold on, Ray. Parks, boating, waterways, and golf courses will be open to the public for limited use by individuals and families as long as they follow CDC and Florida Department of Health guidelines. Persons engaged in any otherwise allowed activity who are not observing social distancing will be required to leave the area or be subject to the penalties prescribed in Section 8B12 of the Code of Miami-Dade County. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. It says here, stay safe or else. Ray and Sunrise, you must be excited.
Hey, Brian, here's a little update. Yeah, I got excited yesterday, but my pro give me bad news. Here's the situation. Broward County allowed courses to open. Now, here's the fly in the ointment, you see. But it's up to the city. It's up to whatever local jurisdiction.
All Democrats.
Yeah. See, like in Sunrise, it's the city of Sunrise that owns the Springtree where I play. But when they open, it's going to be, you have to have a mask in the common areas, of course. That thing about the flagpoles, you can't touch the flagpole. What they do is, the flagpole is in the hole, okay?
Yeah.
And they'll have like a little foam or something in there.
Yeah.
And you can't touch the thing, but you can take your ball out before the next player plays, all right?
You can put your hand in the hole?
Yes, you can put your hand in the hole to get your ball out.
Wow.
Right?
Freedom. Freedom.
Yeah, freedom. Yeah, now here's the other thing. Now, golf courses have bunkers, sand traps and so on.
Yeah.
Now, they're not going to have the rigs. Some have the rigs on the golf cart, some have them in the traps, whatever. Yeah. But they're not going to have any rigs.
No rig.
So now they have the PGA makes a local rule that if you're in a trap, you're allowed now to pick up your ball and with your foot, you can flatten it out and then put the ball down, all right?
Wow.
We allow you to do it with your hand, all right? We make our own local rules, but you see. So I called a few places. In the Miami Beach Golf Club, they have 3 courses there. They're open, but then now that's down there. Now up here, Sunrise, as I said, we're still closed. He thinks we probably won't open until May 1st, but I'm going to be in touch with him every day. Now I call Colony West up in Tamarack.
Yeah.
There's another city, right?
Yeah.
They're closed, and you can't even get any information from anybody. They have an answering service that knows nothing. So that's out.
Yeah.
Over in Margate, near closer to where you are, there's Oriole.
Yeah.
And they're trying to open, but again, there's no action on what's.
Well, you're really up to date. You could do like a news report, the golf course report, in this time, because you're checking out all the courses. Ray, you've been around for a couple of years. I have never seen such a surrender of civil liberties in this country ever. Ever.
That's what we talked about yesterday. That's what this is all about. The economy is built on free enterprise, and it's about civil liberties, and that's what people have got.
Well, you know what the problem is with this? In America, the law, so much of the law is done on precedent, what has happened before. So what's going on here right now during this pandemic, you're going to see in the future this applied to other things. Oh, wait a minute. There's been a school shooting. There's a pandemic of school shootings. Back in 2020, they did this, this, and that. So based on that, we can do this. They're going to use what is going on right here, right now, in the future, many times in the future, to take away our rights again. And just like that, without any debate from very low-level bureaucrats like your City of Sunrise Council.
Yesterday we talked about the 4 freedoms.
Yeah.
But, we didn't mention that to me, the most important is freedom of religion.
Yeah.
And you know that I run a golf course. I run my golf games, but I also run a Bible study.
Yeah.
And we haven't been allowed to do that. We have a big fellowship.
Oh, this is interesting. So you have to have. This is this is a crazy thing. It's like the days of the slaves with the books that they had to hide. So now Christians have to meet, I guess, in the upper room in secret. Is that what's going on here?
There's no reason. Most churches, sanctuaries are large enough, or they have a fellowship hall. They can spread out. I mean, there's no. I don't understand why these pastors, these ministers, are allowing this.
Yeah.
They're giving up so easily.
Yeah, they're scared. They're scared. People that are in charge, like the governors and things like this, they're scared because if somebody gets sick, they'll be held responsible. So that's why they cave.
You know what's behind all this, Brian, is all these phony numbers. When they talked about 2.2 million, now we're down to 60,000 people. If you look at statistics, they're saying that 1/4 of all the deaths in the entire world are in the United States.
Nonsense. That's nonsense. It's nonsense. This story I was reading a little while ago. I think it was at the end of the last hour, about how Miami has hired a few hundred social distancing enforcers. I think did it say 400? Are these police officers? What authority do they have? What enforcement powers do they have? And so far as social distancing, so if I'm walking with my daughter, am I going to be approached by a social distancing authority who may question who we are and why we are not observing 6 feet apart? This is not America.
The people that have died. They're in nursing homes. You've mentioned that many times.
Oh, yeah. Stay the hell out of those.
People with
pre-existing conditions. Those are the three groups that have to be tested. That's all. There's no reason to test the other 98% of the population.
Well, listen, Ray, I gotta run for the break, but thanks so much for the golf update. Ray, up to date on the golf update. 18 minutes after the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. That's right, on the radio since 1977. Let's take our break. We'll be back after this.
Just fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone. 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. You've heard Steve Kane, Richie the bus driver, and many other Steve Kane listeners tell you about the great work Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental Care offers. Steve Kane listener, hey, called in, he had an accident, he went to Dr. Gupta, and he told us his story.
Good morning, Brian. My name's Hank. I'm calling from Hollywood. Brian, I'm calling you for a different thing. About a month or so ago, I called first thing in the morning because I fainted coming out of my bathroom, and I busted my 3 front teeth. I busted my chin, but I guess I fainted, I fell, I cracked my chin, it hit my upper teeth, and cracked my 3 front teeth.
Steve Kane Show.
I want to thank you, and I really want to thank Dr.
Steve Kane Show.
I mean, besides the fact that my teeth look great, besides the fact that, you know, his assistant is really good, really nice, they're all really nice over there, the price was unbelievable. When I came home and I told my wife, she's like, I thought that thing was going to cost you 3 times as much. I said, so did I. And I just want to thank you. I want to thank you, Dr. Gupta. He's awesome. Appreciate your show. I listen to your show a lot. I only called in, this is the second time. Both times, one was to make sure I'm going to the right office where Dr. Gupta was, and then this one to let you know that he's great. I know you know he's great. I just want your listeners to know he's great. His assistant is great. The prices are great. Everything is great over there.
Awesome. Well, listen, I'm glad you had a great experience with Dr.
Yeah, I did. Thank you again, Brian.
Well, thank you.
Thank you, and thank Steve, and you guys keep up the good work over there. I appreciate it. Dr. Gupta, you keep up the good work, too.
All right, there we go.
So everybody keep up.
All right, I think you guys just heard what will be the new commercial for Dr. Gupta. Do what Hank did. Call Dr. Gupta at Brighton Dental. For Steve Kane listeners, free consultations. And always the best price. Give Dr. Gupta a call right now. 954-922-4633. 954-922-4633.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on Radio. Just search for W.
Oh yeah, welcome back, everyone. So the local governments here in Florida have an organization similar to the TSA at the airports, the Social Distancing Enforcement Authority. Oh my goodness, Richie the bus driver. You're on the.
Good morning.
Hey.
Yesterday you said I was insensitive because I get 2 checks, and I guess I'm getting to Mike a lot.
Mike hates you. Mike hates you. Mike from New York, he hates you.
That's okay. He can hate me all he wants. Now,
Yeah.
here's my opinion. Here's my opinion of the whole thing, okay? Because I do have 2 checks coming in. And my wife could stay home. She has a check coming in.
Yeah.
And I feel that everybody should apply at this point, and I see what's going on like that. Last question yesterday at the news conference to the president, do you think you should be reelected when you, under your watch, we've lost 50,000 Americans?
Yeah.
So now they're blaming him for the people that are dying in the hospital, which is a total joke. And I got to say this, it's time for the American people to just say, to hell with all these, open up all your businesses, and what are they going to fine everybody?
Yeah.
In other words, we have the numbers on these people, and it's time that they open these businesses up in mass, and the hell with the politicians. Forget what they tell you, and go to the beach and put blankets on the beach? What are they going to cover up everybody?
Yeah, someone was telling me the other day in Vero they opened up the beach, but you're not allowed to stop movement. You have to keep moving. You can't stop.
What is this? In other words, I live in a community here where you can look down the beach, you can look for 3 miles and not see maybe 2 people out there fishing. But to me, this is craziness already. I mean, I see what's going on, and the people should just revolt against these politicians. Jimenez in Miami, the mayor of Fort Lauderdale, your city council in Boca Raton. Why do they get everybody
Democrat?
Up their business?
Democrat.
I don't know why they won't. But why won't the people just say, "The hell with you, I'm opening up"?
Well, they did it. They didn't. They're doing that in some parts of the country, and they come after you. Yeah, Democrats love limiting.
They come after you, but they can't. They can't come after you if everybody does it.
When this is over, there are going to be so many lawsuits coming up with this restrictions on religious liberty and all these other things that are going on. There are going to be so many lawsuits.
If everything opens up, Brian, I could sit home and I don't have to go to these places. That's my choice as an American.
That's
but
right.
These people need to have. They have to have their businesses open, and the hell with the politicians.
The movie theaters. The movie theaters. Some movie theaters are opening up. The movie theaters are open up in Texas. They have no movies. Hollywood's not releasing new films. They have no movies to put in the theaters that are new. They're holding the films to stop to stop theaters from reopening. This is the movie business.
Yeah, well, the whole country is on the fritz right now, and it's like this is a revolt against the president.
I think I'm still kind of in shock at what's going on here. I mean, I know we talk about it all the time, but I don't think it's set in. My life hasn't changed all that much, but so maybe I haven't felt it enough, and it hasn't sunk in yet. But it's like I told Ray, this is the biggest single surrender of civil liberties that Americans have ever given up since 1776.
Well, listen, they showed their cards. They showed their cards already. The Democrats up in Washington, D.C., they're already forming a panel to investigate the President of the United States.
That's right.
And Trump was interviewed this Sunday and said it's the President's fault all these people died.
Mm-hmm.
So now they're going to have an investigation on Trump because they're blaming him for all these people.
They're acting as if he's involved in some type of genocide. Is what they're acting as if.
They took their hand. This is so obvious to any Republican, any Trump voter out there. If the Democrats don't want to go open up their businesses, that's one.
You know what the Democrats are going to do? Because I'm going to play the clip in a bit, but the reporter from the New Yorker that said to Trump, should a president be reelected who's had a greater loss of life than in Vietnam? They're going to there's going to be a movement from the left to put up a memorial with the names of everyone who died in the 2020 coronavirus pandemic, so that they can have that to use against Republicans, like the Vietnam Wall.
Yeah, this is all they have. They got a candidate that's half baked in the head, and he doesn't know what day of the week it is and what state he's at. I mean, come on, this is all they have. They got to get to destroy Trump.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious to me now. And I guess I'm a slow learner, Mike, out there. I'm a slow learner, but everyone should be back working right now.
Absolutely.
And they should defy the government.
Well, Richie's come around because you were in the Richie was in the other camp not that long ago on that. So Richie's finally come around on the right side of things. Oh man, I tell you. Just so listeners know, this will be the last day of our phone difficulties. I can take calls, but only one at a time. And I know a lot of people are calling while I'm talking to other callers. I can only answer one line at a time. And for the next, this may be the last day, hopefully. Good morning, you're on the radio.
Hello?
Yes, you're on the air.
Yeah, I want to talk to Brian.
You're talking to Brian.
Oh, how you doing, Brian?
All right, how are you?
Yeah, this whole thing going on with the pandemic and everything, I agree it's the biggest loss of civil liberties that we've ever seen here.
Well, when I see Dade County are hiring a large number of people to enforce social distancing guidelines. So what are they going to do? Are they going to, code enforcement in some areas will actually measure the length of the grass in people's front yards? So are these social distancing enforcement officers in Dade County going to have some hula hoop or something? And put the hula hoop around you, and if somebody is within the hula hoop, you're violating. How are they going to do this? And what powers do they have?
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, by what authority are they doing anything?
Yeah.
Know? And this social distancing is a new buzzword, kind of like newspeak that the left has invented to get people to get used to this.
Yes.
Because they want to keep this in place is what they want to do. They want to make this permanent. And the longer they can drag it out, the easier it would be for them to do that.
Well, they want you to be safe. Be safe. If you don't do what they say, you're not being safe. Haven't you heard?
Well, every time tyranny comes, it's always because they want to keep it safe. It's safe, and just like when the Nazis took the gun from the Jews and Nazi Germany for their safety.
Yes.
And that's
well. Listen, I do adhere. I wash my hands. I'm very. Again, I talk about this a lot. My wife is in a very high risk situation because of her pre-existing condition. I have multiple masks so that I'm never without one because if I leave the house without my mask, I'm in trouble. So I've got one in the car. I got one at home. You know what I mean? I wear my masks. I do social distancing. I even when I get home change my clothes. I'm washing all the time, my hands and everything. I mean, these are common sense things. I don't need some TSA-like enforcement organization to make sure that I'm maintaining social distancing guidelines. I at some point, what is a choice and what is the law?
Well, I think what happened was I read that the Democrats from congressional and state Democrats had come to Donald Trump a while back, and they pressured him to enact this law from the 50s called the Defense and Production Act. And when he did that, it gave the executive branch the authority to shut down the economy.
Yes.
And if he could just rescind that, I would think that would put a stop to all of that.
Well, there's that old saying: it's hard. You can't put the toothpaste back in the tube, and it's always difficult to turn things back on after you've turned it off. And the thing about this, a month ago we were in a different spot, right? We didn't have the information we have now. We had these very frightening projections. And the president was scared, and I think most people were scared, and orders were given, and executive orders were signed, but we're in a different place now. And these Democrats, boy, they don't want to give up their power over the people, do they?
Yeah, well, like I say, though, I mean, it's this law that they got the president to enact is what gave them this authority. Now, if he could just rescind that would put a stop to everything.
Yeah.
I would believe.
Yeah. All right. Well, listen, appreciate the call. Thanks so much. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi. How you doing, Brian?
All right. You're on the air.
Okay. Thank you. I think Richie made a good point about people just breaking this stupid rules. Who are these people going to be? This Fauci came out of this HIV thing in Europe. That's where he started. And they had that. And he's treating it like that, like a venereal disease.
Yeah.
And they had people that went around checking on people that had HIV and who they were with, and that really scares me. I mean, that's really opening up the door, and I really think it gets to a point we have to stand up for it. Like once I heard somewhere they said that we have a lease on liberty, not a deed on it. We have to fight for it.
Yeah.
So I've been taken away from it.
Yeah. All right. Hey, listen, good comments. Thanks for the call. We'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest running radio show on the radio since 1977. That's right. We'll be right back.
We have on the line attorney Barry Siegel, our estate planning attorney, and he's going to tell you what you can do to take care of your family in this very difficult period. Barry, what have you seen happening with estate planning since the outbreak of the coronavirus?
Since the outbreak of the corona-19 virus, people have taken estate planning much more seriously. One of the things that we talk about often is how people procrastinate when it comes to setting up their estate planning, because estate planning, most of the time for people, is something they should do. But what the coronavirus has done with the outbreak and concern is made people put this at the top of their list. So instead of it being a should, it's become a must. And therefore, we have received a ton of calls from people who have been telling us that they've been meaning to do this for a long time, but now they've realized how important it is to make sure, even if they're doing everything right and they stay home and do their social distancing, they still just want to make sure that they have that peace of mind that they've set up their estate plan to take care of the people that they love. Many people prefer face-to-face meetings. I typically am one of those people. With what's going on, we are still able to help people either by doing telephone consultations or...
Welcome, everyone. Make sure you subscribe and click the notification bell, and then share the feed on all your social media, if you don't mind. That would be awesome.
Just as if you were sitting in our conference room. And the whole point of it is you don't have to worry about your safety. You don't have to come in wearing gloves and a mask. All you have to do is we ask you that you fill out a questionnaire if you're married, that both you and your spouse attend. And we're able to do the same things and ask the same questions and have the same conversations that we do when you're sitting right there in our conference room, either over the phone or by video conference. It's been working out very, very well.
People are very concerned in this time about their health care. What planning is important for people to have as it relates to their health care?
Brian, the healthcare planning is so very important. There are 3 key healthcare documents that everybody should have in their estate plan. The first one is the healthcare surrogate designation. The healthcare surrogate designation is a document that allows you to choose the surrogate or an agent to step into your shoes and make your healthcare decisions for you if you are unable to do so. We always recommend that you name at least 2, or you can name 2 people together, but the people you name can step in and make decisions for you health-wise, even life-ending decisions. The second healthcare document that is very important is the living will. The living will is the document that's typically called the pull-the-plug document. If you are mentally incapacitated, so you can't make your own healthcare decisions, and you have a terminal condition, an end-stage condition, or you're in a persistent vegetative state, the living will tell your healthcare surrogate whether or not you want to be kept alive on a machine if the machine is the only thing keeping you alive while you're in those conditions. So it's very important to have that so that your healthcare decision maker will be able to know what it is that you would have wanted. The third healthcare document that is so important is called a HIPAA authorization and release. You've been to a doctor in the last, let's say 17 years since the HIPAA law came out. You've signed off that you read their HIPAA policy, and their HIPAA policy basically says that they won't share your private medical information with anybody other than other doctors, other specialists, other medical providers. The HIPAA authorization and release that you set up with your estate planning says, I want my medical information kept private, but you can share it with my spouse, my child, my brother, my sister, my friend, whoever it is that you would want them to be allowed to access your medical information, either by talking to the doctors and nurses and other medical staff, or even getting your medical records. So all 3 of those healthcare documents are so important for everyone to have, just in everyday life, let alone during these times.
Now, Barry, the Siegel Law Group, you are donating healthcare documents to people in high-risk professions. That's healthcare workers, first responders, and even those who work at animal clinics and shelters.
Yeah, I can't say enough for the people out there who are risking their lives. This is interfering with their families, and they are just real heroes out there who are taking care of all of these ill people. So we wanted to...
Why don't you like Trump? Call me on the air and tell me about that. How can you not like Trump? You gotta call me on the radio. I'm serious. He's the greatest president ever. Don't like Trump. I can't even imagine. I'm serious about that. Call me on the air and tell me why you do not like Trump.
So all they have to do is call our office, and we'll take care of that for them. Again, for all of you who are doing those difficult work, handling that heavy load for all of us.
All right, coming back.
Thank you very much. When you call the Siegel Law Group, we will give you a free consultation. That consultation can be either over the phone.
Well, I can understand why you don't like me. But Trump?
Consultation will be free. So please give us a call, and we will set that up for you.
Call Barry Siegel's office right now and take advantage of that free consultation. His number is toll-free, 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782. Online, SiegelLawGroup.com.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WW.
All right, welcome back, one and all. My name is Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show. Yeah, so this snarky reporter from The New Yorker, she asks this of President Trump yesterday.
In the back.
If an American president loses more Americans over the course of 6 weeks than died in the entirety of the Vietnam War, does he deserve to be reelected?
Wow. Yeah, I know, isn't that crazy? If a president has lost more people in the course of 6 weeks than in the entirety of the Vietnam War, does he deserve to be reelected? What a disgusting question. And I'll tell you, there's a lot of talk on Twitter. Her name is Olivia Nuzzi of New Yorker. N-U-Z-Z-I. I wonder if that's her real name. Nuzzi. She's in the news. I don't know. Sounds like a fake name to me. But anyway, she thought she was so cute with that question. She's talking about over 100,000 people who've lost their lives that are Americans. The Vietnam loss, and of course from this combined. And she's got smile in her voice. A lot of talk about this on Twitter about it, how she's got like a smile on her face because she's got such this cute question using those who have lost their lives. Big difference. Hold on, Barry. Big difference between Vietnam and this. And a huge difference is that Vietnam was a choice, and this was not. Okay, but we'll get into more about that in just a bit. Let's first check in with attorney Barry Siegel from the Siegel Law Group, our estate planning attorney. Hey, Barry.
Good morning, Brian. How are you?
I'm doing well. So what's going on these days at the Siegel Law Group?
Well, at the Siegel Law Group, we're continuing to serve the community with estate planning, elder law, probate, and asset protection. And right now, with everything going on, there's been a very strong push by people to get their estate planning done.
Mm-hmm.
And some are doing it through online methods, and some are going to attorneys. And the good news is people are getting it done. One of the things that we realize is that people procrastinate when it comes to doing not just this kind of planning, but planning for their businesses, planning for their finances and everything else. So a lot of people are now getting around to doing it because they have the time and they see that things can happen in life that are unexpected. So that's the good news. Now, if you've done your estate planning through some kind of online program or software program that you buy in the store, one thing that I'm going to offer now is if you would like to have us review it for you at no charge, call our office and we'll do a free review. For those of you who have done nothing so far and it's been on your list and it's just falling down towards the bottom of your list, call our office. We'll set up an absolutely free consultation and review your situation and make some recommendations. And of course, during these times, those consultations will be by telephone or by video conferencing like Zoom. And we're happy to help you in a safe manner to protect you and your family.
Yeah, and I know there's a lot of these things online, that Susie Ormond and that LegalZoom and all that stuff. Let me tell you this. You do those things. Just because you have a trust doesn't mean you have a trust that protects you, your family, and your assets. And I promise you, if you've done one of those things, when attorney Barry Siegel and his team review that trust, you're gonna be so relieved that you went to attorney Barry Siegel, because you're gonna find out that I guess you have a trust in name only, probably, in most of these cases. Listen, give attorney Barry Siegel a call. Take advantage of that no obligation free consultation. 1-855-FLA-3782. 1-855-FLA-3782. All right, Barry Siegel, we will talk later in the week.
All right, look forward to it, Brian. Take care.
All right, take care. Take care. So let me get back to this. Let me play this question again. This was the lady reporter from the New Yorker to Trump yesterday.
More Americans over the course of 6 weeks than died in the entirety of the Vietnam War. Does he deserve to be reelected?
Okay, this is the new narrative, and I got to tell you, for her to ask such a smarty pants question with smile in her voice over the death of over 100,000 Americans, Vietnam in this, is pretty twisted. But before I talked to attorney Barry Siegel, I said one big difference is Vietnam was a choice and this wasn't. And someone in the chat said Vietnam was not a choice for my dad. Yeah, a lot of people were drafted. Yeah. But this is something that happened to us. Beyond the ability, what happened in Vietnam is our leadership decided to send Americans to Vietnam. And then they decided to stay there. And then they had this peace with honor business that went on forever. And I still don't know what the hell we were doing over there. I was watching The Amazing Race last night, and they were in Vietnam. And it was last year's thing, and I just, what were we doing over there? What were we doing over there? There's no comparison whatsoever to make. And I mentioned this to Richie the bus driver when he called at the beginning of the hour. When this is all over and things return to normal, and it's hard to even imagine that, isn't it? That things are returning to normal. The left are going to make a move to erect a memorial to those who lost their lives during the coronavirus epidemic of 2020. And I think they'll model it after the Vietnam War. They'll want to do something with names on it. And you can tell by her question. They're going to want to do something with names on it. And they want it done that way so that they can make the Vietnam War comparison. Because I think today you would be very hard-pressed to find someone that said Vietnam was a just war that was worth the sacrifice. Most everyone agrees that Vietnam was wrong, huge mistake, and over 50,000 Americans paid the price for that mistake, and ego and everything else of presidents, and who knows what else was going on there with Johnson and all the rest. So that's just a given. There's nobody today supporting the war in Vietnam. Not that I know. Anyone out there support the war in Vietnam? I know a lot of people that are veterans are conflicted on it because they don't want to say that it was something that resulted in the death of friends of theirs that they served with was wrong. So I get that. But overall, there are now going to be comparisons between this and Vietnam for the rest of time from the left. You're on the radio. Good morning.
Hi, good morning. This is John from Wellington. How are you?
Hey, John in Wellington. How you been?
Great. Hey, listen, the reason I called is you were asking a moment ago, what were we doing in Vietnam? Could I explain it to you real quick?
Yeah, sure. Why not?
Okay, well, we were in Vietnam because North Vietnam invaded the South, and they were backed by the Soviet Union and Red China.
Yes.
It's almost the same as if three great big bullies are attacking you, and I, your friend, step in to assist.
Well, that's not exactly what happened. I think what we went over, I think what happened is yet again, the French and French Indochina were losing another war, and we went over there, and look what happened.
True. That was a major part of it.
Yeah.
But the French had evacuated at that point, and South Vietnam was
well, I am of the opinion, and this may be something most conservatives don't agree with, I'm of the opinion that the entire Cold War was a lie. And, the Soviet Union was a third world country, always was a third world country, presented as a first world country, and there was never a threat. I do subscribe with the Oliver Stone-like thinking that a lot of what went on over there was because of Johnson, and remember Eisenhower, the military-industrial complex. There's a lot of money to be made in Vietnam, and through a war. There used to be a phrase, or not a phrase, I don't know if it's a phrase, but there used to be a school of economic thought that the flaw. I don't subscribe to this, but I used to hear this a lot growing up. The one flaw with capitalism is that every once in a while you need a war to keep it going. Have you ever heard that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's probably accurate.
Yeah, I don't agree that it's accurate, but I agree that kind of thinking was what, helped justify a ridiculous war, which is the war in Vietnam. But getting into the modern debates of today, though, would you not agree? Would you not agree that? And by the way, Dr. Matez, I will get to you in just a second. Dr. Matez is calling. That this question that this reporter asked yesterday, comparing this to Vietnam, they're going to start. It's not going to be long until they start calling COVID-19 Trump's Vietnam.
Yeah, that was just a snarky move on her part.
And it's the beginning of a narrative. It's the beginning of a new left-wing narrative.
Yep, they're throwing anything against the wall, hoping that it sticks. They're back with their talking points now, trying to decide whether he's sane or not.
Yeah, I know. They're disgusting people. All right, hey, listen, take care. I got to run. You're listening to Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show, on the radio since 1977. We'll take a quick break and be right back after this.
The Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor.
Hey, sorry about that. You know, we're moving to a new studio this week in Boca.
So, if you're a Medicare recipient,
no, I did not. I was just calling you back to do your spot.
954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060.
Oh, that's okay. I don't mind. I don't mind. I know. Oh, yeah. I know. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about that. Okay, hold on. Here we go. All right. Dr. Matez trying to save me again. I know about that, Dr. Matez. All right, Dr. Matez, good morning. You're on the air.
Good morning. How you doing, Brian?
I'm doing all right.
I'm going to take a page from Barry. I was listening to Barry here. You know, we talk a lot, because we have Barry, about planning for your death.
Oh, yeah.
Because that's for your loved ones and your family and everybody else. I want to talk about planning for yourself, folks. You got a long way to go between now and your death. When you get that set up and you're nice and comfortable, think about yourself. Are you going to enjoy yourself? Are you going to have a nice life going forward? And that can help your loved ones too, folks.
Yeah.
Are you going to have the energy to get through life? Are you going to have a libido, a sex life? Are you going to enjoy yourself? Are you going to be active, et cetera, et cetera? You hear us talk about it all the time. This is a good time to start thinking about the future.
Yeah.
And you got really good Steve Kane sponsors here that can help you out with the future.
Well, you know, people, now that things are opening back up, you know, there's no better time to go in and take advantage of the free consultation with Dr. Matez that he offers to Steve Kane listeners, because life is getting back to normal. It's going to get back to normal quick, and you need your energy to do that.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
You need a whole lot of things. And actually, this was a topic of conversation yesterday. Not here, I apologize. The breakdown of your body is directly related to the lowering of your hormone levels.
Wow.
Your skin, hair, nails, bones, muscle, all of these things are hormone-dependent organs.
Mm-hmm.
And the breakdown of these things is related to the lowering of your hormones. It's pretty simple, folks. You know, you want to look like Nancy Pelosi.
Oh, my goodness.
No worries. We can surgery you up and pat you down with makeup and all kinds of shit.
Oh, well, you got to watch him out. Oh, my gosh. You're not on the golf course, Dr. Matez.
No, I think that could be the first time in 15 years. I hope I don't get kicked off the station.
No. Just today.
I hope you
oh my goodness. I hope so too. I hope so too, Dr. Minton. That's for the liberal owls, not for our doctors.
Oh my goodness.
I told you he's not like most doctors. He's not like most doctors, Dr. But you know what Dr. Matez is talking about? What Dr. Matez is talking about is, you know, he's in the business of anti-aging. So restoring your hormones to their natural levels where they were when you were younger, that's where the anti-aging comes in, because all those things, the loss of hair, the hair loss, the thinning of the skin as it ages, the dementia, the loss of cognition, all of these things, that's what hormone replacement pellet therapy can stop and even reverse. So give Dr. Mitch Matez a call. Take advantage of that free consultation, 561-953-5490. 561-953-5490. All right, Dr. Matez, we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, thanks, Brian.
Oh, my goodness.
We'll make this one into a spot.
I could edit it. All right, take care, everyone. All right, bye-bye. Dr. Matez. Oh, my goodness. Live radio, people. It's live. Every once in a while, you get to find out. Where do we go from here? I always know where to go. But, you know, listen. This phase that we are in, that the Democrats are trying to keep us in and stop us from escaping from. It's only a matter of time before it's finally over. And we're getting to that period now, and that's what really has them very, very much upset. You know, these restrictions are controversial. You have the right that want to open everything up, and you have the left that want to keep everything closed. And the liberal politicians, you find time and time again, the liberal Democrat politicians violate their own restrictions. All over the country you hear this. And Mayor de Blasio drove across the city to go walk in the park with his wife, and he got confronted by a New Yorker who took out his phone and filmed it. Listen.
Seriously, you guys have a park. You live in the middle of a park. You don't need to not essentially travel to Brooklyn. Come on, you wouldn't even open roads for people of all backgrounds. I'm not going to give it a break. Like, this is selfish behavior.
He's talking to de Blasio and his wife.
This is so terribly selfish. You call yourself a progressive, but you chauffeur yourself to Brooklyn. You force people to drive you.
Thank you. Thank you, please.
This is ridiculous. Like, this is the epitome of non-essential travel.
No.
Right here. You're too close to me to be socially distant.
Yeah, see, de Blasio's staff, they're trying to, you know, see, this is the problem with the Democrats, okay? They pass these hardcore laws restricting your movement, my movement. They decide where you can go, where you can't go, how many people you can be with, who you can be with, how far you must be away from them. They're limiting your travel, but they continue to break it. How many Democrats have been caught getting their hair done, these lady Democrats? And de Blasio is busted all the time, walking all over creation, traveling all over the city, violating his own social distancing guidelines. And then when somebody gets upset with him, has his own... See, the problem with the Democrats is that the rules never apply to them. They come in with these... It's like in the old days when Rosie O'Donnell was an important liberal activist in the media, and she took this strong gun control position, anti-gun position. Remember this? And then it came out that she traveled with an armed bodyguard. Remember that? And oh, she's a hypocrite. Democrats are always hypocrites. See? You know. And when de Blasio, remember de Blasio was caught in the gym working out? I keep hearing stories about J-Lo in the Miami gym when there's nobody in there, hiring the gym out and going in there. But, you know, and there's a lot of press attacking her for going to the gym still, even though it's an empty gym. But Jennifer Lopez isn't signing executive orders restricting people's freedoms. De Blasio is. But he's in the gym. He said, well, I need exercise. I'm running the city. Well, you know what? Life's tough for everyone. You're not more important. That's the problem with the left. And I really, truly hope that there's a great awakening when all of this is over, because with everything that is going on, one incredible positive that's come out of it is the Democrats are showing their true colors. You're learning everything you need to know about Democrats with this loss of liberty that's going on right now in America. Now, one thing that I know a lot of you know about, but many of you don't, and that's the incredible deals you get at Friendly Tire in Margate. I've been a customer of Friendly Tire for over a decade. They've been with us here on the Steve Kane Show for around about a year now. And they have incredible prices on new and used tires. You know, they have thousands and thousands of used tires in stock, starting at just $30 for most sizes. And I'll tell you, I found Friendly Tire about 10, 11 years ago, because I used to have a four-wheel drive Jeep Wrangler that had the big old tires on it. And I was so happy when I got it. Oh man, the tires are so cool. Until I had to buy tires the first time. And those tires were expensive. And I was like, oh my goodness, the tires, most of the cars I've had didn't cost as much as the tire prices I was getting quoted on that. And then I found Friendly Tire, and man, I've been a customer ever since. Every car in my family, even in my extended family, are on the road with tires from Friendly Tire. You know, the new tire prices are out of this world. My daughter's car, the lowest price I could find around town, $135 a tire. Friendly Tire's price, $65 a tire. That's brand new tires out the door and on the road. Now remember, Friendly Tire does not charge you to mount the tire, balance the tire, dispose of your old tires. There's no fees. That price is out the door and on the road. My wife's car, the lowest price I could find, $165 a tire. Friendly Tire, $75 a tire. Brand new tires out the door and on the road. Steve Kane's van. Oh man, the lowest price we could find around town, $175 a tire. Friendly Tire's price, $75 a tire. There's a brand new tires out the door and on the road, and it's amazing because I'd wanted to get Friendly Tire on for a long time, advertising here on the show, and I needed to get Steve over there to experience the great deals, and I tried over a few year period. Steve would come in and say, "Oh, I just got new tires yesterday." And I said, "Steve, next," and he would complain about how much he was paying. I said, "Steve, next time you need new tires, let me know first. I'm going to take you over to Friendly Tire in Margate. The prices," and I would tell him the prices. He's like, you know, and this happened 2 or 3 times. And then one day he came in and said, "Oh man, after the show, I need new tires bad." He had, one tire was so bald. I said, "Steve, after the show, go straight to Friendly Tire." I gave him directions. I called over there. I got the prices, right? The 175 was the lowest price we could find anywhere else. And I called Friendly Tire, $75 a tire, brand new tires on the road. And Steve, he didn't believe. He said, "Come on. How could they be $100 less per tire?" I said, "Go over there. Just go over there." And Steve called me up. He went over to Friendly Tire. He called me up. He said, "Brian, I can't believe how cheap the tires are here. Brand new out the door, $75 a tire, brand new. $100 savings per tire." That's exactly right. And you will find similar savings too. If you have specialty tires, he can help you with that. You have run flats, great savings on those too. Do you have a commercial vehicle? Call him. He can help you with your commercial vehicles as well. He has all the name brands you love as well, with great deals. Firestone, Goodyear, Michelin, great deals on those. Thousands of used tires in stock, starting at just $30 a tire for most sizes. Give Mike a call at Friendly Tire, 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net. Friendly Tire, located in the city of Margate. The address listed at stevekaneshow.com. It's 5415 Northwest 15th Street in Margate. That's just a little north of Coconut Creek Parkway, east side of State Road 7, 441. And make sure you mention the Steve Kane Show. All right, third and final hour begins now.
FM 96.9 FM, 103.9 FM, and AM 1470. WWNN Pompano Beach is the Florida Money Talk Network.
This is Steve Kane for attorney Barry Seal. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you gotta. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, "Look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister." Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, and this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity. These are the most
Good morning, Debbie.
Sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them. They all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA 3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Hurricane season is right around the corner, and the predictions are that the 2020 hurricane season will be busier than normal, with 16 named storms predicted, 8 turning into hurricanes, and 4 growing into major hurricanes. That's according to scientists at Colorado State University. That's 3 more named storms and hurricanes, and 2 more major hurricanes than they predicted at this time last year. Do you have the hurricane coverage you need and the coverage you want for your home, condominium, or commercial property? In case a hurricane hits, call Debbie at I Will Advisors, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080. Debbie will review your policy at no charge and make sure you have the coverage you want and the coverage you need. Once a hurricane hits, it's too late. Call Debbie at I Will Advisors right now, 954-753-8080, 954-753-8080. So you've been told you need a health test. What are you going to have to pay? Health tests can be very expensive. If you go to your doctor's office or one of the big labs, it can cost you hundreds of dollars. Sometimes I haven't had lab tests because of the cost. Then I discovered Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs' goal is to get you all the lab tests you need, save you money, and get you in and out in 15 minutes or less. At Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, you never need an appointment, no doctor's order, or prescription needed either. You can walk right in and have any of their thousands of lab tests done for just a fraction of the price the big labs or your doctor's office charge. Give them a call, 954-906-5983, 954-906-5983. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs is located on the southeast corner of University and Ramblewood near the Coral Square Mall. Any Lab Test Now of Coral Springs, private and affordable lab testing, 954-906-5983.
You are listening to South Florida's longest running radio show.
Ah, yes. Welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian Craig. This is Florida's longest running radio show, The Steve Kane Show. That's right. Third and final hour has begun. A very special edition of The Steve Kane Show, which you'll find out later. Not right now. Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I tell you. I'm itching to not have to talk about coronavirus, COVID-19, shutdowns. I want to get back to our normal political hackness. You know, it's presidential election season. Yesterday, Nancy Pelosi came out with her endorsement of Joe Biden. I mean, what a joke. Let me play. This is Pelosi talking about Joe Biden, who is so incoherent. His wife had to give his speech from his basement on Sunday. This is Pelosi's endorsement of Vice President Joe Biden.
Today, I am proud to endorse Joe Biden for President of the United States because he will be an extraordinary president. Knows how to get the job done.
You know, what has he ever done? The guy has been in government since what? In federal government since the early 1970s, since Nixon was president. What is one thing he has gotten done? It wasn't the Affordable Care Act, that's Obamacare. So, Pelosi, what has he ever done? I don't know, let's get back to this. This is her endorsement of Biden.
Elections are about the future. Now more than ever, we need a forward-looking, battle-tested leader who will fight for the people.
You know, this is what's sad. And I don't make fun of Joe Biden's mental issues, his dementia. If you went up to Joe Biden and said, what year is it? He good chance he wouldn't tell you 2020. If you went up to Joe Biden and said, who's the president of the United States? Good chance he would tell you somebody else. I mean, those are the first two questions. When you're testing someone's cognition, when they're dealing with cognitive issues, those are the first couple of questions you ask. I remember this because I had grandparents that dealt with this. I had a great-grandfather, and I remember he went into the test, and they asked him who the president was, and he said Jimmy Carter. Well, the problem with that was Ronald Reagan was the president, and had been the president for a while. It's not anything to make fun of. I mean, it's a terrible thing people deal with, but it's something that Joe Biden is suffering with. So to call him forward-thinking.
Experience and the strategic thinking to bring our nation together and build a better, fairer world for our children. For these and other reasons, I'm proud to endorse Joe Biden for president, a leader who is the personification of hope and courage, values, authenticity, and integrity. With so much...
Now, keep in mind now, he's being accused of an assault by this lady recently. He's got some huge financial issues with it, not just his son, but his entire family, according to Peter Schweitzer. But this is a man of integrity, she says.
We need the enthusiasm, invigoration, and participation of all Americans, up and down the ballot and across the country. For the Democratic majority in the House and Senate, we will deliver bold progress for the people when we have President Joe Biden in the White House. So please join me in supporting Joe and help move America forward.
Okay, yeah, that's Pelosi. There is, I find it impossible to believe that Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats think that Joe Biden's going to be their nominee. They're pushing him now. They have someone else in mind. Who it is, I'm not sure. It could be Governor Cuomo, for all I know. But they're pushing Joe Biden. So when you've seen his mental state lately, no serious person, and she's a serious person. I may not like her, but she's the Speaker of the United States House of Representatives. She's the leader of the Democrat Party right now. So she's a credible person. I don't like her. I know a lot of you don't like her. We got a lot of reasons not to like her. She's done terrible things to this country with the phony impeachment sham of President Trump, but she's still a credible thinking person. No one can convince me that Nancy Pelosi believes Joe Biden is going to be the nominee of the Democrat Party. They have somebody else in mind. They're pushing him through during this time, and then they're going to sneak someone in during the convention. Who that is, I don't know. We're going to find out. I thought for a while it was going to be Governor Cuomo because I was talking to a caller in the first hour of the show. The first couple of press conferences Governor Cuomo did, he sounded together a little bit. I was like, oh, wow, my gosh. I was a little upset because he just announced he's running for president. When I saw the first televised press conference by Cuomo, now he did way too many, and he talked way too much, and we saw more of what he was really like. And then his brother is a clown who went out during this crisis and did stupid things. Fredo. But he is a credible candidate. They could recruit Andrew Cuomo, and you know what? Democrats love him. I don't know why they do. I was watching the president's press conference that I wasn't expecting yesterday because he said they said there were going to be no more Trump press conferences, and then, surprise, they sprung one on us. But when the press conference was going on, they put the graphic on the screen of the states with the most of the infections and deaths from coronavirus. Every single one of them a Democrat state. And New York, there's never been a time New York has not been number one. New York's been number one death, number one number of people testing positive through this whole terrible time we are in. It's been a disaster. I don't know why they're calling him President Cuomo. Why would you take someone who's the chief executive of the place that is the biggest hotspot for coronavirus in America and say, oh, what a great job. That's insane to me. But they're pushing him. And I did watch that press conference yesterday. That sleazeball that writes for Playboy, I don't know his name. He brought up something, the disinfectant question to Trump.
Now that other states, Governor Larry Hogan specifically said they've seen a spike in people using disinfectant after your comments last week. I know you said they were sarcastic.
I can't imagine why. Yeah.
Take any responsibility?
No, I don't. No, I can't imagine that. Yeah.
Okay, and what Trump's implying there is, if that's true, he's blaming the media for hyping it up. I don't believe that there's been a spike in people ingesting disinfectants, okay? I don't believe that. Since this started, when I go to the store, whether it's Walmart or Publix, okay, there are 3 items that I check for every time. Toilet paper, Lysol, right? The spray disinfectant and Lysol wipes. Those 3 items. Lysol spray disinfectant and Lysol wipes after toilet paper are the most sought after products at the grocery store and Walmart. People have given up on the hand sanitizers. Okay. So I don't believe this narrative of an increase in people ingesting deodorizers and sanitizers. I don't believe that. You know, there was a big urban legend about Halloween, about the kid biting into the apple with a razor blade in it. That never happened. Never happened. But a lot of people think that it did. Same thing with this ingesting of disinfectants. Now, it was Chris Cuomo's wife who talked about taking a bath in bleach, which seems dangerous to me. And she put that on Twitter, and there was a lot of... But did she do that because of Trump? I don't think so. So I don't believe... This is a completely false narrative about people ingesting disinfectants because of what President Trump said. What President Trump said, he did not say what they accused him of saying. He didn't talk about injecting yourself with bleach or disinfectants. He was talking about a medical... Everybody knows this. They've twisted it. The White House media need to be sidelined. The president he's got to talk to us and tell us what's going on, but does he have to do it with them? You know, they control the press room. They control the press room. That's why he couldn't kick out Acosta. Acosta should have been banned from the White House until he gave a formal apology for the way that he spoke to the President of the United States. But they said he doesn't have the authority because the press corps have authority over the press briefing room at the White House. Well, that's fine. Let them have control of the press briefing room. The press briefings will no longer be in that room. They'll be somewhere else. They'll be in the cabinet room, and he can invite other members of the media. He's not obliged to talk to CNN and NBC and CBS. He's not obliged to come out and talk to them. He can do it with, I don't know, internet reporters if he wanted. He could have a press conference every day, anywhere else he wanted, right? And not have the White House press corps there, but have writers from Breitbart, right? The Daily Mail, the Daily Caller, the Daily Wire, the Gateway Pundit, Newsmax. Invite those people. Take it out of the press briefing room. Local newspapers, local news people. He doesn't have to go and take questions from the Washington Post, CBS, ABC. He doesn't have to talk to Jonathan Karl. He's not obliged to do that. Let them have control of the room that no longer will be used. Right? That's right. I would shut down the White House press briefing room. Those press conferences serve zero purpose other than entertainment value. I do enjoy watching him go back and forth. Don't misunderstand me. It is enjoyable. But there's a bigger picture here. There's a health and economic crisis going on in this country. It's not a time for fun. And I think he should stop them. At least with those reporters. You can have the One American News reporters there. There was a guy from Breitbart that asked a question yesterday. You can have all those people there. But enough of these mainstream media animals. It's counterproductive. It serves no purpose. You get snarky questions like that woman from the New Yorker calling this Trump's Vietnam, asking him that very snarky question with a smile on her face, talking about over 100,000 Americans who have lost their lives. She thought it was cute. It wasn't cute, it was disgusting. That's what I would do. You know, when he first became president and Spicer was there, who really screwed it up. Spicer's first press briefing was an embarrassment, but it pales in comparison to the shirt that he wore on Dancing with the Stars. Remember that puffy shirt that he wore, Sean Spicer, on Dancing with the Stars? That was worse than that first press conference about the crowd size. But Sean Spicer said they were going to change the way press briefings were. They were going to take questions in different ways from different types of media. They tried Skyping in a couple of people here and there. I even saw Joyce Kalpin once got a question in there. It was cool. But then they dropped it and it went back to the same normal thing. No. Have a press conference and invite radio talk show hosts. I'll go. I'll ask questions. I'm sure Hannity will go. You don't. He is not obligated to take questions from them. And I'm not saying take questions just from people who agree with him. Take questions from people that have real questions, that aren't just trying to go viral and be cute and snarky. So no, the press conferences, other than entertainment value, it's really, I think these press conferences with the media are a negative. This thing with the disinfectant is just one of many examples of how they take something, they lie, and it becomes people's reality. All right, listen, we'll take our break 18 minutes after 8 o'clock in the morning. I'm Brian Craig. This is the Steve Kane Show. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back after this.
The owner of Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of the Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love if every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering, and the cities are going to require, as we start to go back to work and get out, that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use a bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and to protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is, while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done? It's that painting project or sprinkler supply, or maybe treat yourself to a new grill.
Wow, what a great deal. These bandanas are reusable because you can wash them. So stop into Ace Hardware in Deerfield, just south of Hillsborough Boulevard on the west side of US 1, and Beach Ace Hardware, located at 232 Commercial Boulevard, Lauderdale by the Sea, and get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
You've heard the jingle and seen the commercials, and that's right. You will get the best night's sleep you've ever had with a MyPillow. Have you not gotten your MyPillow yet? Right now is the best time to do it.
That's right, Brian. Hey guys, this is Brian's wife, Kathy, and this is the best time to get a MyPillow. They have amazing deals. Take advantage of them now.
Go to mypillow.com, click the radio listener link, and you will see all these great deals. Like the buy one MyPillow, get one for free. There's a BOGO offer right now on the Giza Dream Sheets. Buy one set of MyPillow Giza Dream Sheets and get the second set free.
You gotta love BOGO deals. They're the best. And you can take advantage of so many right now at mypillow.com.
There's a lot of other deals too. Again, go to mypillow.com, click on that radio listener link, and you've got to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to get these incredible deals. So go right now to mypillow.com, click the radio listener special. Make sure to use that promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, at checkout to take advantage of all of the great deals. You can also order by phone, 1-800-716-4879. Make sure to use the promo code KANE, K-A-N-E, 1-800-716-4879.
For the best night's sleep in the whole wide world, visit mypillow.com.
Hi, this is George Corey of the Soul Authority. In this time of social distancing and sheltering in place, many people have been forced to neglect their feet. We at the Soul Authority are making it possible for you to still take care of your feet while remaining in your home, as we will send a doctor to your house for all of your podiatric needs. The best part of all is that Medicare pays for this visit. So, if you're a Medicare recipient, give the Soul Authority a call today at 954-597-7060. That's 954-597-7060. Don't let social distancing stop you from taking care of your feet. Call the Soul Authority today.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show, Florida's longest-running radio show. On the radio since 1977. Now, a lot of you may not be aware, we broadcast on 4 radio stations. 3 FMs, 1 AM. We broadcast, of course, on AM 1470. This is, by the way, live in the mornings from 6 until 9, and overnights, midnight till 6 AM, 7 nights a week. Monday through Friday from midnight till 9 AM, but on the weekends, just midnight till 6. We broadcast on AM 1470, 103.9 FM, 95.3 FM, and 96.9 on the FM dial. You can also listen to us on the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app. Just search for us by our station call letters WWNN. That's 2 W's and 2 N's on the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app. All right, so Those are the ways. And I'll tell you, when you listen to us on the iHeartRadio app or the TuneIn app, and if you're in your car, you can pick us up on the Bluetooth, which is how I do it a lot of times. Depending on where I'm at, I'll listen to the show on the Bluetooth on iHeartRadio or TuneIn in the car, or sometimes in my AirPods. That's how I listen. So on the iHeartRadio app and the TuneIn app, search for us by our station, call letters WWNN. You know, I'm looking at the Drudge Report. Here's the headlines on the Drudge Report. Virus panic on packed plane. Unemployment anger grows. 1 in 4 at breaking point. Trump promises November election. And then at the bottom, most states set to reopen. I saw this video of the woman on the plane. Okay? I saw the video of the woman on the plane. And there was a woman on a plane. It was packed, and she was in a complete and utter panic. Okay? A complete and utter panic. And, you know, this is the way it's going to be for a while. Pretty much every day from now and for a few months from now, as things open up, there is going to be someone who goes somewhere and has a fit because it's crowded now and they can't social distance enough on the plane, or they can't social distance enough there. This woman on the plane, if she didn't want to fly, don't fly. Don't fly. You know, you can't turn commercial aircraft into private aircraft. Commercial aircraft have to have a certain number of people on board to pay for the flight. And if there's not enough social distancing on the seats for you on an American Airlines flight, take your car and drive to where you're going. And what's going to happen with the irresponsible left-wing media is, as these things go on, okay, as these things go on, what the media are going to do is hype them all up. Well, you know, because some hysterical woman gets on an airplane and has a fit because there's so many, you can leave the aircraft. You see the people getting on before taxis. If there's too many people there, say, I'm out of here. I don't want to fly. And I bet you if you went to the ticket counter, they would accommodate you and be understanding in the current situation. Instead of making this, you know, they got to pay for the fuel. They got to pay for the pilots. They got to pay for the flight attendants. You can't take some 757 and say, hey, I only want a third of the people on the plane, or however many they think should be there. You know, we're in a situation now where there's always a partisan divide in America. Always a partisan divide. The partisan divide we are in right now, okay, is the worst that we've had in a long time. But there's always been partisan divide. We were talking about Vietnam earlier because of that question, right? There's always been a partisan divide on everything in this country. But this is the first time the partisan divide since maybe the Civil War or something has affected everyone. Because what you have is you have this one side, the left, like this hysterical woman on the airplane, that because she's uncomfortable, they want everything shut down. They want everyone to accommodate them. We're in scary times, we're in frightening times, and we're in times that we cannot allow to continue to this extent. And what I mean by that is, we can't let hysterical people, like another story, a terrible story about this doctor in New York who took her own life because of what she was saying. I don't know anything about her background. She was dealing with coronavirus patients in New York. She took her own life. They're saying she took her own life because of it. Does she have a history, a mental history? I don't know. But to blame her suicide on this, that's not something someone just does, probably. You know, you see how the media turn this? She may have a long history of these problems. And if she's so weak, she was in the wrong profession. She couldn't handle the stress of this. Little stories are all being turned into this. You know, this other story, Trump promises November election. They're acting as if he was going to suspend elections. This is a very partisan argument that happens before every election. I've heard this when Clinton was president, when Obama was president, George W. Bush was president. I'm sure they talked about this many other times. Many times, whatever party is not in power accuses the party in power, the president, of they won't leave office, they won't hold an election, you know. And Trump never said anything. In fact, Trump was the one out there who wanted to, what was it, Wisconsin? And I heard that there were no increases after that election. I read an article the other day, after they had that election, there were no increases in cases after they had that election that the left didn't want to have. See, what the left want is to do what they did in New York, only have one candidate on the ballot. They're very comfortable with that, Joe Biden, in the primary. They took all the other candidates off the ballot. I don't know what other candidates were there, but they're not there now. Just one candidate. That's how elections are run in Cuba. Everybody's with one party, only one candidate for the big office, and that's it. That's they call it an election. And that's what the Democrats are doing here. And it gets to a point where you got to say, no more. No more. You're not going to let these hysterical people affect what we're doing. This panic on a plane, you know, get off the plane if you're not happy with it. Don't make a video and get hysterical all over the Twitter. Why are you you bought a ticket too? What, you're the only one that can go somewhere, that can fly somewhere? Or only you and 30 of your friends can turn American Airlines into a private charter flight? You can't do that. All right, we'll take our break for the bottom of the hour. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. We'll be right back after this. Don't go anywhere.
For attorney Barry Siegel. Barry did a great job for me and my family when we needed a revocable living trust. Listen to one of our listeners, Ray, talk about his experience with Barry Siegel.
I want to praise Barry Siegel. And one of the most important things about sponsors is integrity. You have to know that you're dealing with an honest person. I had to go up to Myrtle Beach with my sister because her husband died, and I was helping her out. She had a trust and everything. She had not revised this trust since 1997. And, you know, Barry says every 3 years at least you got to. I called Barry's office because I had a question. I let the secretary know. I said, look, I'm calling from South Carolina. I know the laws are different, and I'm just asking for information for my sister. Now, you know, most people would just blow you off, right? You know, almost immediately, within a few minutes, Barry himself called me. I asked my questions and so on, and he answered. He was very patient. I was quite a while with him, and talked about a lot of things, you know, this and that. But I wanted to say, you know, character, integrity, these are the most important things with sponsors, and all of your sponsors, because I've dealt with a lot of them, they all have that you can trust them and you know you're getting a fair shake.
Do what Ray did. Call attorney Barry Siegel right now. Toll free 1-855-FLA-3782. That's 1-855 toll free FLA-3782. Tell them Steve sent you.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone at discount prices that absolutely can't be beaten. Steve Kane's tires for his Toyota van at the other shops, $175 a tire. At Friendly Tire, just $75 a tire. That's a $100 savings per tire. Tires for my daughter Emily's car, $135 at the shops around town. The price at Friendly Tire, only $65. That's a $70 savings per tire. These prices are out the door and on the road. Free mounting and balancing and no added charges. Friendly Tire have a great selection of good used tires too, starting at just $30 for most cars. Call my good buddy Friendly Mike at Friendly Tire. Tell him what you drive and he will give you a great low price right over the phone at 954-977-9445. 954-977-9445. Online, friendlytire.net.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio. Just search for WWNN.
All right, welcome back. I'm Brian. You're listening to the Steve Kane Radio Show, Florida's longest running radio show. It's time to check in with Richard Pearl from Simply Natural with our morning health report. Richard Pearl, good morning.
Good morning. Well, I want to start off by saying telling the truth is a revolutionary act.
Yeah.
And of course, that's an Orwellian statement, but
Yeah.
it seems to be true. There were a couple doctors on Laura Ingraham last night for telling, and they were telling the truth. One was Dr. Dan Aronson, one was Dr. Arden Masuki, and they told the truth about the virus, how it's much more prevalent and it's less deadly than people want to believe, and it's stuff that I've been saying since February. In February, I came out and I said this death rate, when it's all said and done, will be somewhat similar to the flu.
Yeah.
It's a little bit more contagious, but not any more dangerous. What we're finding out now, by the way, the guy did a viral video, these two guys. Unfortunately, I didn't get to see it, and YouTube took it down. You know, it's interesting. YouTube is taking down videos on 5G. They're taking down videos on the virus. They're taking down anything that doesn't follow the state-run media mindset. It's really disturbing because we're supposed to have free speech, but that only applies from the government. Public companies can stop free speech, and YouTube is doing it, Twitter's doing it, Facebook's doing it, and of course the news is full of fake information. But what's really disturbing is we shut down a country on a virus that's not deadly to most of the population. In fact, most of the population that gets exposed to it doesn't even know that they got it. It's probably one of the weakest flu viruses or viruses out there in that regard. The people who are dying from it are people in homes, in these nursing homes, where they're stuck in a small area, where they're exposed to it, where they have other underlying conditions. I've talked about this ad nauseum, but the truth is the truth. We should never have gone into a lockdown. We shouldn't be in a lockdown now. DeSantis, I'm glad it's ending, but he needs to end it today, not tomorrow. And there are states like North Carolina that are extending it for political reasons where they have almost no death rate. It's unbelievable what some government officials are doing in name of politics. This needs to end. We have natural products to boost your immune system. I'm not going to go into them today, but you can come to my store. I'm open 7 days a week. My radio show on Saturday goes explicitly into what's going on with the virus, with Bill Gates, what he's masterminded along with Fauci and Birx and others, trying to force the whole world into a vaccination program when zero is needed for this virus. This is such a travesty on our society, on the world society, and it needs to stop right away. But if you come down to Simply Natural, at least what I can do for you is give you a different perspective and give you nutrients that will improve your life. And it doesn't have to be just about virus. It can be about your other health issues. Maybe you have, issues that are more normal, and you want to address those. Maybe your pressure isn't the way it should be. Maybe your stresses aren't the way it should be. Maybe you have inflammatory or autoimmune issues that you would like to improve. There's a million different reasons to come down to Simply Natural, and we'll help you with all of them.
Absolutely. Now, Simply Natural is open 7 days a week, 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. They're located in the city of Sunrise, just north of Sunset Strip on the east side of University Drive. And you can give them a call at 954-741-4045. 954-741-4045, and catch Richard Pearl's radio show on our radio stations and iHeartRadio and the TuneIn app Saturdays at noon. All right, Richard Pearl, we'll talk tomorrow.
All right, thanks a lot.
All right, take care. I can't get into this right now. I know people get mad at me because I'll reference things and I won't tell you what happened. I had something happen. I got some news about 15 or 20 minutes ago, and it's not life-changing. Everyone's okay, but I just got some news about 15 or 20 minutes ago that was pretty bad news for me personally about something, so I'm a little off right now because my mind is off in another place right now. But you know what? I got 24 minutes until the end of the show, and the show must go on. I tell you, I just wish sometimes when I was in the day and age that we are in, you are always in communication, right? You're never without being able to be reached, whether it's email, a text, a Snapchat, or a DM on the whatever it is. There is rarely a time or a place that you can be that people can't get to you at any particular time with something. And it used to be, before all this tech, that no matter what was going on in the world during the 3 hours of being on the radio here on the Steve Kane Show, in a way I was kind of out of touch. I mean, obviously you can call me on the air, but I was out of touch with things going on in my personal life. You know what I mean? And I could tune out, do the 3 hours, and then deal with all that garbage after the show or before the show. But during the show, but now that you can be reached and you're interacting and you're doing things all the time, things happen. So something happened. It's something in my. Everyone's okay. No one's sick. No one's hurt. No one's in the hospital. But something in my personal life just happened 20 minutes ago, and for the last 20 minutes, I mean, I've been on like another place right now. It just sucks. It sucks. Don't you miss the days when you couldn't be reached all the time? When you were incommunicado, we didn't even realize. I mean, like when I was a kid, I'd be gone with my friends on our bikes all day. No one knew where we were. We would come back at dark, and the parents didn't even go, where were you? Where were you? Where were you? Now, if a kid's out of sight, after 30 seconds, I remember when my daughter started driving and some of her friends started driving, and I was talking to some of the parents. We'd have these conversations, and all the parents, they're like, well, at least they got their cell phones. They got their cell phones. We can reach them. And I said, cell phone. I said, when you and I started driving, there were no cell phones, unless you were Gordon Gekko. Our parents didn't know where we were, and we were gone. And these days, your kid, you get them a car, they drive. Not only can you reach them on the cell phone, you can follow the phone, right? Every phone's a GPS. Everyone knows where their kids are at all times. I was talking to one guy in my family. He's in business. And, he was telling me how the cell phone is just, it kills him because his clients, no matter where he is in the world, no matter what day of the week, no matter what holiday, no matter what the hour of the day, his clients expect him to answer his cell phone. It could be Sunday at 3:30 in the morning, and he could be in the Swiss Alps, and he's got clients that would expect him to answer the phone and deal with their business, right? And it is just, part of what's going on now probably, like this hysterical woman on the plane I was talking about earlier, being in touch with everything all the time, when you never have time to really be free of your electronic devices, everybody's always on edge. I talk a lot about how the news media keeps everybody in a state of panic with the binge watching of the news cycle. How much do you ever really cut yourself off from the news? You say, well, I don't watch the mainstream news. Yeah, but you're on Twitter all day, aren't you? My cell phone doesn't leave my side. I use it as my alarm clock. I wake up in the morning because of my alarm on my phone. It's right there. I got the flash. I use it as a flashlight. I'm going around. I'm in my phone all the time. I'll wake up in the middle of the night, and what do? I'm checking my messages or looking in the news. How many of you are doing that? We are too connected. Too connected. I mean, it's crazy to me. You'll even, I'll see a homeless person at an intersection with a work for food sign. They got a cell phone out texting someone. It's crazy, the connection. So at any moment in time, you find out things like this thing that happened to me is about 25 minutes ago. It would have been something I would have dealt with at 9 o'clock or 9:15 when I got off the air, and it's not that big of a deal. But you get information, you get news, something's going on, and then I look at the clock and I go, 40 minutes till I get off the air, and it's like, oh man, I get some information, and then I got to go on the air for 40 minutes and try to act like nothing. I can't tell you guys what it. Again, everyone's okay, no one's hurt. It's just a minor thing in my life. That it would have been handled if I would have gotten the information at 9 instead of 8:20, it would have been no problem. I would have taken care of it. But now I'm in this thing where I know I really hate how connected all this technology is supposed to make our lives easier. I think all this technology makes our lives worse and much more stressful. That's just my opinion. Like I got to deal with this. Yeah, Liberal Al, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, turn the noise off in the back.
I did.
Yeah.
I didn't realize we were picking up on the second round.
Yeah, I got you.
I'm glad you survived taking your Lysol Appletini this morning.
Uh-huh.
I believe everything that Trump says.
Oh, you didn't stop for the drum roll of the laugh.
Oh, okay. I'll wait for the laugh.
Yeah, you'll be waiting a long time. You'll be waiting a long time.
You know damn well it was a funny joke, but you just don't want to accept it. But okay, it's okay.
No.
Don't have to appreciate
Yeah.
it.
The only reason I took your call, Al, is because, as I've been saying the last 5 or 10 minutes, I got a little crisis going on in my mind I can't do anything about, and you're getting my mind off of it a little bit.
Yeah, well, I mean,
I'm using you.
You use me in the same sentence as Dr. Mr. Mendez, so I'm indeed honored.
Yeah.
When in all the years I've spoken to you, have I said anything that was inappropriate for radio as far as language?
No, you're just in. Yeah, I don't know, Al. I don't care. Do you have anything relevant that doesn't involve yourself?
Well, I'd like to point out that the Trump ignored more than a dozen reports in January of important nature that would help us avoid this crisis that we're in right now.
Yeah.
I mean, even if he had listened to the intel report and took the right steps in
Oh my gosh! All right. Good morning. You're on the radio. Save me from Al. I mean, my goodness.
Good morning, Barry.
Oh.
No, I find it interesting that Nancy Pelosi waits so there's no other candidate, Democratic candidates, to endorse.
Yeah.
Then she endorses Joe Biden.
Yeah.
Where was she a few months ago when there was at least a handful left, before the Democrat Party gave the marching orders?
Well, with the Nancy Pelosi endorsement, how can you take that endorsement? I mean, I don't want to make fun of Biden's mental state. And I'm not. Biden his mind is checked out. He's suffering from some type of severe dementia issues. How can they seriously think he's going to be the nominee? Come on.
Well, at this point, I said they have no choice. There's a hidden agenda now. Obviously they're going to run his administration. All those who still have power and the Democrat Party. Hey, maybe she even wants to be his VP so she can sneak in there, even though she's 80. She's older than Biden.
No, well, this is what they want with Biden. Okay, they before they had no hope that they could win the election prior to this. They think that because of the economic damage and the pandemic and Trump's Vietnam, that new narrative they started yesterday at the press briefing. I mean, by the way, that question from the New Yorker is another example of why the press briefing should stop. Now they're calling this Trump's Vietnam. They think they got a hope now. And what they like about Biden and his mental state is that he wouldn't be able to govern. And all the people that Trump drained the swamp from could take back over. Hell, if Biden became president, Comey could be the FBI director again. Think about that. I'm serious. I'm not kidding. Would you be surprised? Would you be surprised if a Democrat won and made Comey FBI director again? Would that shock you?
Not at all. They'll put him someplace else.
Higher up. Make him director of the CIA or something. I wouldn't, the FBI, just to stick it to Trump. And all the people that he kicked out, they can come back in and take over. The donors, the deep. Brennan will be back. Brennan will have his, he'll have his security clearance back on day one, and he'll probably be CIA director again. Brennan.
Oh, they have no shame.
No, they don't. They have none. And what this is about, what this is all about is about this. Biden is a path for the establishment to get back in control of the government. That's what it is. Because he's so checked out, they can't govern. He'd be a figurehead.
No, you did. Right on the head.
Well, I appreciate your call because you saved me from Liberal Al, because I really didn't want to talk to Liberal Al.
Poor guy.
Are you like me with the cell phone though? You're too, there's too much communication. You can be reached day, night, 7 days a week, all the time. It's terrible.
Oh, it's even worse than that for me, Brian. I used to have a separate camera and video for family. I use my phone for that too. It's just so handy. video and pictures and everything.
You know, I wish that I could take my phone and my computer and my everything and just throw it in the lake. But you can't. You can't function today. Maybe when I'm retired in 100 years. But it's just too much. Like this thing that happened to me a little while ago. Just a minor thing. I don't want anybody to think that there's something. Everyone's fine. Everyone's okay. A little something happened. And I wouldn't have known about it till 9 if I didn't have my phone and my computer here, but which I need for work. And it's just, we're too accessible today. And the stress level of Americans, the anxiety level of Americans, I'm sure this is worldwide, but the anxiety level of Americans is at the highest point probably ever in our history because we're too unable to relax because we're in constant communication with something. With all these electronic devices that are supposed to make our lives easier, but seem more destructive than anything else.
Well, we're taking the good with the bad, right? Advantages and disadvantages.
Yeah, that's true. All right, take care, man. Let's take our last break of the day. I'm Brian. This is the Steve Kane Show. We'll be right back.
From Ace Hardware Deerfield and Beach Ace Hardware wants you and your family to be protected during the coronavirus pandemic and has an incredible offer for listeners of the Steve Kane Show.
We get products continually coming in during the week. We get disinfectants, bleach, gloves, cleaning supplies. Everybody's looking for face masks. So the best thing that we came up with was a face covering. A lot of the cities are going to ask you to cover your face. So we've got a supply of bandanas. I'd love every one of your customers that come in a free bandana just for mentioning the Steve Kane Show. The bandanas are face covering and the cities are going to require as we start to go back to work and get out that everybody's required to have their face covered. So you can use this bandana to cover your mouth and your nose and to protect you and protect all those around you. The other thing is while you're at home, why don't you get that honeydew list done?
We're moving this week into our new studio, which is actually going to be right down the street from your office. Yeah, I mean literally right down the street. So when we get settled in a couple of weeks, we'll get you in and we can do like an updated gold show we haven't done in a while. It'd be easier. Yeah, great. Hold on.
And get your free bandana from Ace Hardware.
Listen to the Steve Kane Show on iHeartRadio.
All right, welcome back, everyone. I'm Brian. This is Florida's longest-running radio show, the Steve Kane Show. On the line, we have William Youngerman with the Morning Gold Report from William Youngerman Incorporated. William Youngerman, good morning.
Good morning, Brian. How you doing?
I'm doing all right. Thank you very much.
Well, good. Those metals are doing okay. Still holding our support levels of $1,700 on gold and $15 on silver. Although overnight we did dip below those numbers momentarily before rallying back. Yesterday we saw gold close down to about $1,712.20 the ounce, while silver remained at $15.19. And platinum closed out the day at $760, with palladium at $1,875.
Wow.
Right now, gold is up 80 cents at $1,713 the ounce. Overnight, we did get down to around $1,691, but as I said, we rallied back right once we break. There was that $1,700 number. Seems to be a lot of buying underneath that market. Same thing with silver. Silver got down to just around $14.90 last night and then rallied back to where it is right now, $15.30. That's up 11 cents on the day. Platinum is up $10 right now at $7.70, and palladium up $7 at $18.82. So again, anything around or underneath that $1,700 seems to be a great buying opportunity for gold, and $15 for silver.
Wow, these are amazing numbers, and we're in such a strange era now because you look at what's going on in the market, you look what's going on in the metals. We're in new territory, and that's why you need to deal with an expert. And that expert, of course, is William Youngerman. Give him a call, no matter where you're located. Give him a call; he can help you. 1-800-327-5010. 1-800-327-5010. Online, WilliamYoungerman.com, or stop in his office in Boca, which is immediately east of US 1 Federal Highway on the south side of Palmetto Park Road in the Bank of America building. All right, William Youngerman, we will speak tomorrow.
Okay, have a great day.
You too. Take care. Yeah, take care. Yeah, I mean, it's crazy. We're just these very strange financial times. No doubt about that. Yeah, I am so much again. We were talking about this a lot yesterday, these press conferences. And I'd been talking actually for a week or so on my podcast more than on the radio about how the press conferences really need to stop, that they're counterproductive. And just two examples recently, this whole disinfectant lie that they promoted, whole lie, disinfectant lie. That came from a press conference. This question yesterday of the reporter about the Vietnam comparison, that's going to be the next. The press conferences, when he gets to the Q&A, serve no purpose other than the Trump-hating left-wing media being able to use the questioning to start a new narrative and news cycle that's always anti-Trump and anti what we're, trying to do here, which is get the country back to normal. And when the White House said over the weekend that they were going to suspend the press conferences, I was like, great. And then boom, yesterday, surprise, press conference. I don't know where that came from. I saw an article this morning that was talking a little bit about how the press conferences came to be, that it wasn't Trump's idea. I don't know. But I do know this, that other than being entertaining television, watching the back and forth between them, what positive comes out of these now? Another big negative that's come out of these is Burks and who's the little guy, the jockey? Yeah, got Brad Pitt playing him now in his dreams. They're becoming too important, right? They're becoming too important because what's happened with those press conferences now, because they've been going on so long, is they're the voices of credibility. You have to go to Dr. Fauci to find out what you can do. And if the doctor says, oh no, we got to do this, we got to do that, it doesn't matter what the president or any other elected official says, these unelected bureaucratic doctors are the ones that are running the entire government at every level in this country right now. And I know people say, well, they're the medical experts. What the job of an elected official is, that's a chief executive, is to get the advice of all the experts and then make the decision, right? Right? That's what advisors do. Advisors advise, and then the executive makes the decision. Well, the media have decided that the doctors make the decisions because the doctors are telling them what they want to hear. So now, I hope they go back to ending the press conferences. They serve zero purpose. Now, I'm not saying the coronavirus task force shouldn't come out. Let Pence come out with the doctors every day. Don't take the questions and just come out and tell us what they've done today and what they're going to do tomorrow, et cetera, et cetera. That's cool. Do that. But don't have the president out there every day. They hate him too much. The relationship between Trump and the press is too negative. He's never going to get a fair shake with them. They're always out there looking to trip them up. It's every member of the press to Trump is what Liberal Al the John is to me. Liberal Al is always trying to get me. I'm always getting him. It's just back and forth, back and forth. Nothing productive comes out of a conversation with Liberal Al and me, other than maybe a little fun. Someone might laugh. Not today. Today's call was pathetic, but, he's pathetic. There's nothing productive. That's what Trump and the media, it's like me and Al the John there. Nothing productive, nothing good, all negative, just maybe entertainment value. And the media, the question for the media is this: if it's okay for them to be at work, why can't the rest of the country be at work? And the reason is because they think they're special. They make all these dealings about face mask, right? Face mask required in Miami. We were talking about that earlier. I don't see any members of the media wearing them. The only people I see in there wearing masks are the people that work for the White House. I see the White House photographer wears a mask sometimes. I don't see members of the media wearing masks. Why not? And sometimes the media, when they're passing around the microphone, share a mic. No masks, passing around the microphone. They're not abiding by social distancing guidelines at all. I don't share a microphone. I wouldn't share a microphone. Even before all this, I wouldn't share a microphone. I've always used my mic. But the members of the press that want the entire country shut down, social distancing, they're not so. The social distancing you see in the press briefing is an illusion, because they share a mic regularly in those briefings. And they're not wearing masks. They're not wearing masks. Now, the reason they don't wear masks is because they want their faces seen on television. But still, they're not doing any of the things that they think the rest of the country should do. But if it's okay for them to go to work, why not everyone else? All right, listen, we're all out of time. We'll be back tomorrow at 6 a.m. I'm Brian Craig. You are listening to Florida's longest-running radio show. Indeed, you are, The Steve Kane Show. Thanks for listening, everyone. I'll see you tomorrow at 6 a.m. Take care.
Stop paying an outrageous fortune for your tires. Go easy on your budget and buy your tires at Friendly Tire in Margate, where they have all the major brands like Goodyear and Firestone.
All right, guys, take care. See you later.
Absolutely.